So they start staring at each other, and then they hit the fucking credits! They hit the credits, Will! They don't even say anything! Welcome to 141 and 2/3%, the wrestling podcast hosted by two lapsed wrestling fans who could literally stop watching wrestling at any time. My name is Tyler.
I'm Will, and I'm getting real close to not watching wrestling ever again.
Wow, I mean, we are on week 2, people, and what a time for us to choose to start doing this podcast. Like,
really?
It is so tumultuous.
It is crazy out there.
My faith in WWE it was already low to begin with. They built me back over this last year, coming back and watching again, and now I am fucking ready to go because it sounds a lot like 2015 out here right now.
Yeah, that's very true. But on the other side of it, this could all be a work. We could be just giant fucking marks, and The Rock is actually a genius, and he's making us look like fools. But are they? Are they that smart?
Will and I all week have just been we're just trauma bonded. We're just talking. We're just like trying to raise our each other's spirits over text message. Like it's seemingly like 3 or 4 times a day. Our spouses are worried about our mental health. It's affecting my real life. I am so fucking fired up about what's happened. We chose the weirdest time to start this. Well, Royal Rumble's coming up. Now's a good time. It's March to WrestleMania. We can finally start this podcast. We're going to have a grand old time. This is a great time to start. And then they do this to us.
And then they do
all
this.
Fucking things! Okay. So last week, we did a 2.5-hour podcast and didn't cover everything. So let's get right into the news, and then we'll get into the anger that we feel. I'm assuming throughout the episode. We still got the Raw from last week to cover. So we're going to go Raw, Smackdown, Raw. But first, we'll hit up a little bit of news. I wanted to start first with a message that Will sent me. And this is really honestly the biggest news of the week. It far surpasses Vince. It far surpasses some of the other stuff we're going to talk about. But Will, let the audience know, where did you find this piece of information? And please enlighten them as to what you have found.
Well, like all good news stories, I found it on Reddit at 5:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Which I just want to clarify for our listeners that that's Will's wake up time. He's not up at 5:30 because he's been up all night. That's typical for me. But Will's an early riser. He catches that worm.
I get that. All right, I'm up. I'm ready to go. I'm catching the news. I'm scrolling. I'm looking at Reddit. Let's go. I'm scrolling one morning, and I see a little tweet show up from one thumb-talking gentleman named Solo Sikoa. And I have to pull this up real quick because these tweets are amazing. And they start going, they start getting viral.
It really tickled me. Basically, someone on the internet, so Solo's Twitter was shut down sometime around this whole Rock fiasco.
Yeah.
And the assumption was he was getting hammered because of his connection to the bloodline, but we're pretty sure after Will's deep dive, I shouldn't call it a deep dive, Will's wading into the shallow pool, the shallow part of the pool.
Yeah.
That some tweets were uncovered from him as a Ute, and it's really wholesome compared to some of the other tweets that have been found from other famous people in high school. These are actually really, benign.
This is great.
But Solo tweeted a lot about his hatred of math when he was in high school.
Well, it's hilarious to me because Solo and I are the same age. I think he's maybe like a year older than me. So we were in high school at the same time. So this is a period of time when you were tweeting nonsense for no reason whatsoever. And since I've become a grown man and matured in my life, I've gone back and deleted a lot of those more checkered tweets that I have. And most of the tweets were dumb anyways. But some of these tweets that Solo posted when he was in high school, great stuff. I've got one here from November 21st, 2013. Damn shit, I hate math. Blowing nose emoji. I have another one from the month before, October 29th, 2013. Hate math! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. And then from 5 days earlier, October 24th, 2013, I hate math. Upset faces, upset face, upset face, upset face. So he must have been going through a test or some sort of study, some sort of like exam period at this time, and he was not having fun. But other people were like, they even dug even further to find what other tweets he was going on. And this one is one of my favorites that somebody found. Anybody have a Netflix account I can get on? Pray emoji, pray emoji.
I did not see those ones. I just saw the math ones you sent me. That is fucking incredible. I think, okay, so keep going. Yeah.
One more. This one from May 27th, 2012. I'm trying to go to the water park, though.
I forgot about that one. I saw that one. It's so good because they've like positioned him, from the moment he came in as this silent assassin.
Yeah.
And, for our listeners, I don't think I talked about this last week, but one of my dream match for WrestleMania for Cody and Roman was a lumberjack match, which I'm a big fan. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. I'm a big fan of gimmick matches when they mean something. Yeah. And I love a lumberjack match. And I think they've fallen out of favor because it's like really difficult to like convince all of these, I'm going to say millionaires. Some of them I'm sure are 100,000aires, but to convince them to stick around and stay in their gear to go out there and surround the ring and be lumberjacks. So my dream match was to have all these people, outside of the ring at WrestleMania that Roman had fucked over with the bloodline. So that you had this equalization of it, right? And maybe actually have, whatever remaining parts of the bloodline are left and kind of balance it out a bit. But that was my dream. And so to continue that dream, I now just want like a whiteboard or a chalkboard just filled with like calculus and to be in one of the corners and Solo like interfere, like he takes out like 4 or 5 like lesser people that Roman's feuded with or the bloodline is feuded with. Like we're talking maybe like a Sami Zayn. We're talking maybe like Hurt Rollins or whatever.
Sure.
And then he like stumbles upon the chalkboard and this look in his eyes is like, ugh. And then he just runs through the crowd. He just bails through the crowd and escapes. Okay, so that's
in the air as he's crawling through the crowd.
his thumb just yelling at him about math. All right, let's move on to some more serious news. Jacob Fatu is a free agent, which is kind of a huge deal. He is part of, like, I'm going to say the bloodline. He's part of that Samoan family that is a large group of Samoan wrestlers who have dominated wrestling for a very long time. And Jacob, I would argue, in the matches I've seen him have in MLW, which is Major League Wrestling, an independent promotion, he is one of the best workers. He's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. The issue, I think, has always been, I might be misremembering this, but I do believe he has multiple convictions of lesser orders. I'm just speaking completely out of hyperbole here, but not manslaughter. I think he's had a few public fights or like drunk driving or like minor infractions, but that would restrict his ability to leave the country and work in Canada, Mexico, Germany, Australia, So I'm interested to see.
Looking at here, it looks like he was arrested for robbery. This is just from Wikipedia, from a quick Google, around the time when he was 18. So probably just a little bit more of a checkered childhood compared to some of the other members of the family. And like you said, that'll just make it harder for him to work internationally, which WWE or even AEW will need you to do to be successful.
Yeah, AEW to a lesser extent, but certainly WWE, which has a real presence right now internationally, right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of people have already theorized that this could be a next chapter in the bloodline. And I'm pretty over the bloodline stuff, but it does seem, we're going to talk about it later, I promise, guys, we got lots of time to talk about this. It does seem like we're coming into the end game of the bloodline storyline. So it would be interesting to see him come in some aspect, whether it's for Roman or against Roman. There are possibilities there, but I just think the logistics of it are kind of the bigger problem for him. Honestly, if he didn't have those charges, I think he would have been in WWE a long time ago. But just something to keep on the radar moving forward.
He could have been Solo's math teacher. That could be an angle.
Yeah, like, do you know, oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Steven, oh, fuck. Oh, come on, Tyler. Not Stevie Richards. Oh, why am I blanking so hard right now? There was a guy, he was the champion of ECW and had a good career, and he was in WWE for a brief period as, like, a teacher. He was the teacher character. And one day we are going to do, like, occupational gimmicks and run some of them down. But it was one of the, like, most gross misuses of someone who is, like, really, really amazing at, you know, wrestling and delivering promos, and they just had to be a teacher. I can't believe I'm spacing on his name right now. I'm going to look it up right now. Let's see here. He was the first ECW champion. Because I'm not sure, Will, if you're aware, but back in the day, there was the NWA, and there was multiple territories across the world. Across North America. And Shane Douglas was the name I was looking for. You know who Shane Douglas is?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm going to say no.
He had time in all the major promotions of the day. He had time in WCW and ECW and WWF. But yeah, in WWF, he was grossly misused as this character who was a teacher. And I would love to see him back and try to teach Solo math. Or same with, Randy Savage's brother, one of the Poffos. He also had that kind of similar gimmick in the 80s where he was like a professor. He was like Professor Poffo or something. And both of them can unite to
incredible
try to teach Solo math. But yeah, Shane Douglas. So yeah, with the NWA Championship, it was multiple promotions, and then like there was kind of like a committee of all of these promoters who would decide who would hold the belt, and then
that was
whoever
the
was the
AWA
champion. No, NWA.
The NWA.
NWA,
okay,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
AWA was part of the NWA, so they would put the belt on somebody, and then that person would work on their territory, but they would also kind of go around the country fighting, you know, different people, and for various reasons would retain the belts. If it was a heel, then there'd be a lot of, like, you know, interference or whatever. They'd put him against the top babyface, or if it was a babyface, the heel would do something that gets disqualified, or they'd put him over or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, not important.
Yeah, I've been reading a book about the territories a little bit. Just not reading, but like listening to an audiobook about it. So parts of it sounds familiar, but you know, when you're listening to an audiobook, you're like doing something and you're disappearing out of it and come back in, that sort of shit.
No,
but yeah, sorry.
I've been there. No, yeah, that's all for Jacob Fatu. It's interesting to see if he does show up and what they can do. I mean, obviously WWE has a lot of money. Politically, they can kind of get the ball rolling on different things. And maybe, you know, get him exonerated for the crimes and have him come in. And if the money, you know, like everything else with these corporations, if the money is there for them to put into it to get a return, they're going to do it, right? So I'm sure they're probably considering that right now as we speak.
Exonerating Jacob Fatu from his crimes is such a funny statement to say right now.
I know, right? Especially with everything WWE is going through. One more thing before we touch on the big WWE Vince saga and all the sex trafficking. Rossi Ogawa apparently is at a Stardom now. You don't really follow Japan like at all, right?
No. I just Googled this right now, so I'm a little familiar with what's going on, but not entirely. So tell the people, Tyler.
Yeah, so, like, you know, I don't really follow Japan as close as many other people, so if you are a fan of Japanese wrestling, forgive me if I'm going over, you know, glossing over some major details, but Rossi Ogawa is basically the father of Japanese women's wrestling, is the best way to put it. He's been involved in multiple promotions, and he was one of the, I believe, 3 founders of Stardom, which is arguably the biggest women's promotion right now in Japan, where Japanese women's wrestling is like a little bit more from what I've gathered, again, I'm not a big Japanese wrestling fan. Women's wrestling in Japan is taken a lot more seriously than it is here. Seriously might not be the better word. I mean, just more like it's more popular. Kind of similar to how, is anyone watching women's hockey in Czechoslovakia or sorry, not Czechoslovakia? That's the country has been gone for 30 years. In Czechia, no. Do they have a women's hockey league and a hockey team? Yes. But I don't think people are, even hockey fans are not as like well aware of it, right? But I think in Japan it just has a higher status. But Rossi Ogawa is like, he was the guy in charge of the talent. He was the Triple H. He was the guy who gave a start to a lot of these women's careers. And because women's wrestling is so popular in Japan, got the start of a lot of North American women into the big time. Scouted talent in North America that was being underutilized and brought them over to Japan to fight in front of bigger crowds for bigger paydays. And a lot of women love him. And I don't mean women love him. I mean a lot of women wrestlers, both Japanese and North American and worldwide, have a lot of loyalty to him for giving them their start. And there's been a lot of rumors online about him maybe coming to WWE or maybe starting his own promotion in Japan, another new promotion in Japan. Ooh. But it's also, there's a few Japanese women wrestlers in Japan specifically, not necessarily Japanese, that are very well regarded, that have been linked to maybe coming and making the jump to North America. And I mean, AEW's women's division is in fucking shambles. It's just terrible. My opinion, you don't have to agree, but they've been linked with WWE and AEW. So if they did ended up getting Rossi on the payroll in WWE, it would be a fucking coup, because there are so many women wrestlers that he can bring in just based on loyalty and trust.
Yeah. I'm even seeing names like Chelsea Green, like some of the people that he's had come out to Stardom are like for even just guest bits, or just like while they were freelancers or while they're working up, like some of these people are now at WWE or AEW, like Chelsea Green. So yeah, he could have that power.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, like one of the biggest names right now is, do you know who Julia is with a G?
Julia with a G. I can't say so. No.
So she's an English-born, Italian-Japanese professional wrestler who's in Stardom. And she's probably the biggest name right now in women's wrestling outside of WWE or AEW. And there's been a lot of talk about her coming over sooner rather than later. But now that, Ogawa's stuck in the middle, I saw something, she came out and said, like, if she doesn't really want to make a decision until she can help Ogawa maybe start the new promotion and work 6 months there and help him out because of everything he's done for her career before she moves over, right? But it's tough because the North American audiences don't necessarily want what the Japanese audiences want, so you have that adjustment period. Like Io Sky. Io Sky was like phenomenal in Japan, but it took her a while to get into the North American style and get over with the crowd. And, now she's women's champion, which is amazing for her. But there is that adjustment period, right? When you go to North America and you have to work a different style. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. So let's move on. Just some quick notes here, because again, we're unqualified to talk about this. The first little bit about this whole Vince McMahon sexual trafficking thing, part of the fallout is that Lesnar's getting whited out of everything.
Yeah, he's getting the Benoit treatment.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, honestly, it's getting to be like that. He's been removed from all the creative plans. He was supposed to fight Dom at Elimination Chamber, which is why you saw, from what I gather, I don't know if we touched on this last week, but the Braun Breaker got the Lesnar spot. Basically, everything Braun Breaker did was supposed to go to Lesnar. So he was supposed to fight Dom at EC, and he's been removed from the Supercard game. He's been wiped from all of the album art, all of the cover art for the WWE 2K24.
Yep.
And they are whitewashing this motherfucker and giving him the boot to the corner, which is probably best.
Yeah. Yeah, consider everything going on. I mean, congrats to Braun Breaker for accidentally falling into this situation and kind of making the most of it in the last like couple of weeks, because the Lesnar situation is terrible, but I don't know. Braun Breaker seems to be getting kind of a pop right now in the wake of it, and I think it's kind of earned in a way.
Well, he can go. That's the thing. Is like Braun is young and he's got the blood in him. He's got the Steiner blood, and he's not bad on the mic. He's great in the ring. He seems to have a lot of personality. We're going to talk about him a little bit later in the show when we get on to the latest Smackdown and Raw. But yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. Obviously, like, you know, we're unqualified and we're already 20 minutes into this. But, you know, Lesnar's getting kind of pushed to the side for now until more information comes out. I don't anticipate this ending well for him. Just the association with Vince and some of the things that came out with him wanting pee. He wants pee. So that's not going to end great.
Do you think this will end with charges for Lesnar, or will this just be a more or less a whitewash? Like, we'll just never see Lesnar in any WWE capacity ever again?
I think we don't see him. I don't think it's going to result in charges or anything. Again, we are not exactly insiders here, and more might come out in Discovery. Are you familiar with like the concept of Discovery going to trial?
All I know about the courtroom and how it works is from the Rick and Morty courtroom.
The Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Oh, just the bit, just that one bit.
You know the one.
Yeah, I encourage you all to look up Rick and Morty doing. It's oh god, I don't remember his name, but it's someone versus the state of Georgia. Anyways, so
it's so good.
A lot of the time with lawsuits, they settle out of court because if you're actually going to go to trial, there's a process called discovery, where basically each team needs to divulge everything they know about the case to each other. And then discovery can bring out a lot of details that haven't necessarily been made public, and they can bring it into the public eye. So that's one of the main reasons, other than financially, you don't see things going to trial, because the process of discovery can bring out a lot of things that people want to keep hidden. Yep. And it's already been kind of established by the team going against Vince here that they don't want to forego that. They're not looking for a settlement. It seems like they want to go deep and fucking cancel this man and end his life. And so we'll see what comes out in that process if it gets that far. But as long as nothing else additional comes out, I see a path forward for Lesnar to get out of this to some extent. Or at least, you know, come back and be inducted to the Hall of Fame in 10 years. But, you know, it all depends on the ebbs and flows of our culture and where we're sitting.
Yeah.
Politically in 10 years, you know?
Yeah, maybe pee is a big thing in 10 years. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and like there's also like, you know, a lot of the time progressive movements are counterbalanced by ultra conservatism later, right? We see that flow in history where there's a response to the previous generation where things start to get much more conservative and who cares what people did? It was the past. A lot more exploitation. Like, you know, you see that those waves in the history of time, especially now where the waves are getting a lot shorter because of the nature of social media and the internet. So you know,
the P waves.
It'll just depend on the political climate. Sorry?
The P waves.
The P waves. That's right. So yeah, I mean, just to quickly move over into Vince. Vince is now getting investigated by federal prosecutors for sex trafficking because I'm assuming, based on the allegations and it being over state lines, federally they're stepping in for more serious charges. There's really not much else to say on that. That's all really kind of where it is right now. They're starting to do those preliminary. They're starting to do the preliminary research and you know, start to think about maybe persecuting him on a federal stage. I'm basically going to drop it there. Do you have anything else to say about it?
Nope. No, we'll leave it there. There'll definitely be developments over the next couple of weeks. We'll try to keep an eye on it. But there is a lot to talk about in kayfabe as well right now.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's quickly, guys, we missed Raw last week because we went 2.5 hours. We're clipping right now. Let's just try to get through this one quick. This is the Raw from January 29th, 2 days after the Royal Rumble, live from Tampa Bay. I mean, so same place, kind of, different arena. You're at the Amalie Arena, which is where the Lightning play. Still good crowd, though. Florida crowd was packed in there. It was interesting to me, first thing off the bat, that they did this with the Smackdown too on Friday, that the recap of the Royal Rumble was out of order. They did the Women's Rumble, then the US title, then the 4-way, and then the Men's Royal Rumble, which was out of order of the presentation of the Royal Rumble itself, which was a little weird.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It was a little weird. But you know what happened later in the night, I guess, kind of led into that. So McAfee's back. Yay! It's cool. Yay! McAfee's back. The crowd seems to love him. He seems to really love wrestling, and I appreciate that about him. But he brings energy, but he's just not really that good on the mic yet.
He's not.
Maybe he just needs to spend a little bit more time in the actual universe, watching the shows week to week. With a little bit of media training.
While watching this Raw, while watching the last week and a bit with McAfee on the commentators table, Michael Cole is actually doing a far better job now because he has to carry this so much. I'm like,
he really
there
does.
Are points there are points throughout Raw and SmackDown where I'm like, wow, Cole is really in this right now. And it's because McAfee is so new. He's just so new. And McAfee doesn't even know what to say at certain points when he's trying to freak out about something. He gets choked up. And I feel that, man. Even while I'm talking, I'd get choked up. But he just kind of stops himself, and then Cole lets it hang there in the air for a second, and he just continues on without him. He's just like, fuck this guy. I just have to keep this show going.
Yeah, the whole rework of the booths, I get it, because Cole seems to really love McAfee, and they've worked together in the past. And Cole's obviously the most senior announcer in the company, so he can carry McAfee. And boy, does he need to carry McAfee.
Yeah. Poor guy.
So we come out, we start up Raw with a Punk promo. Comes out, defers to Cody. He's in the sling. He's got a Chad Gilbert shout out, which I found was fucking wild. So you can see the notes this week, Will, which you did not have access to last week.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Did you know who Chad Gilbert was? Because I did.
No. Catch people up.
So he's a former, he's, I think still currently, he's one of the founding members of Newfound Glory, a pop punk band. He was lead guitar and backing vocals for them. He was married to Hayley Williams from Paramore for a bit. Every person born in 1990's dream. And he was the vocalist for a little band called Shai Hulud, which is a little tie into Will's love of Dune. I thought Will would like that.
Oh, I gotta check this out now.
There's a band by a punk guy who's in a pop punk band called Shai Hulud, and Will, I think that's your new favorite band.
Oh man, now you've unlocked something for me, and I gotta pay attention to pop culture more. All right, we got Shai Hulud.
Let's keep going. Okay, so Punk's taking the high ground. He's deflecting the praise.
Honestly, when it comes to Punk's promo here, or not, I wouldn't say it's a promo. It's more of just kind of an addressing of the situation. He's wearing the sling. You can see the emotion, his eyes look really tired. It definitely looks like he hasn't slept very well in the last 2 days since Rumble. Yeah. He looks rough, and I feel so bad. Boy. Yeah, he's real sad, and it's clear that it's very, very real. And I also think that the pressure of the last 72 to 96 hours, not just on him, but like on the company as a whole is definitely weighing on him a little bit more because it is his big return, and now he's got this injury, and I feel it. I did find as he was going through, like as he was talking about Chad and like the cancer bit, I did find it was kind of a little preachy, but then it just got to that point where it was almost like it was almost going into like this old punk preachy, like back when he was in the Straight Edge Society, where it was like almost like, oh man, where are you going here? And then Drew came in, and oh boy.
Oh man, Drew. So Drew's music hits, and Drew right now,
he's figured it out, man. He's figured it out.
You got Cody, you got Punk, you got Rollins, you got Sammy, you got so many over baby faces right now. But I am so fucking impressed with Drew. I'm going to spend a lot of this episode talking about Drew McIntyre. I am so impressed with how the crowd did not want him to turn heel. We're talking like about 4 months ago, 5 months ago. He's kind of languishing in the middle of nowhere. He's not quite mid-card. He's not quite main event.
Right.
And he gets into this feud with Seth. And he's still not even really a heel. And the crowd doesn't want to boo him. The crowd wants to cheer for him because they love Drew. And he's put his life on the line for this company. He held the belt during COVID. He's just been nothing but a solid fucking worker. He goes out there, delivers great matches, great promos. And he just kept hammering this like tweener heel angle. He's not quite heel. I fucking love Drew McIntyre. He might be my favorite wrestler.
Good. He's so good right now. It's so great. And you're right. Like over the past 4 months, like it started off as a bit of a kernel, and you would see it when he's delivering these promos where he was trying to take a heel approach to these promos, but it was still coming from that old McIntyre state of mind, or that old McIntyre character. And the interesting part about these promos over the course of the last 4 months, when he was starting to feud with Rollins and he was starting to feud with Jey Uso, and as we led into Survivor Series and all that great stuff, the thing that was interesting about these promos is that he had really good, honest points that every time you heard him spoke, you were like, well, he's kind of right. And then he just kind of leaned into it a little bit more and leaned into it a little bit more. And now he's at this point where he's all the pieces have clicked into place. And now his social media is hot fire right now. The things that he's sending out as tweets is insane. The chirps that he's throwing at everybody. So good. And people love it. We're all here for it.
Really, like you want to boo him as a fan because you're supposed to, kind of. But then he says something so fucking ridiculous, like that line when he was like, I prayed for you, and I prayed for this to happen." You're just like, dude, you're not allowed to say that. It's so good. He's so great right now. I would love, in my dream scenario, when we're going to talk about more about the fucking Rock and Cody, is I want them to backtrack on this, and I want Rollins to have a nice break, and I want them to put the belt on McIntyre, and I want a heel run with the championship until Punk can come back and take it from him. That's what I dream of right now. That's a
great direction. All right, let's keep moving here.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, we're just gonna whip through this a little bit here because they're kind of undercard shit, and we don't have time. But we saw another walk-in promo, the change of production that we've seen the last few weeks with DIY. How
do you feel about these types of promos before we dive a little bit deeper? Because these promos have showed up quite a bit since that Raw over a week ago.
I don't hate them because it takes the illusion of when one acknowledges the camera, the crowd can acknowledge the camera and understand that the performers see the camera. There's nothing really more infuriating for me than a backstage event that happens where they pretend like the cameras aren't there. Yeah. I want to see the realism. I want them to know the camera's there. So you can have the interview segment with Jackie Redmond or Kathy Kelly or whatever, and those are fine. That's traditional. I understand it. I do prefer this than us getting like a candid look at something where we secretly see something we're not supposed to see, even though there's cameras and lights in production. I prefer that to.
Yeah.
I prefer this to that. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think the hard part about it is that it's still a bit cheesy right now. Because when you have guys like DIY that kind of like they say their little shtick and then they run out there, the framing of it feels a little cheesy, but also maybe the people that they have doing it for the last like couple of promos for this kind of format have just their gimmick hasn't lent itself to that style of promo yet. They're still trying to figure it out. It feels a little awkward a bit of a right shoot. Now. Yeah,
it's shoot-ish. It's shoot-esque. It's showing them in a competitive light, and I like DIY. Well, I really appreciate Ciampa and Gargano as wrestlers. I don't love the DIY bit. It makes no sense. I certainly hate the gear. The gear is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
I don't appreciate what they're coming out to the ring in. I don't like the sitting on the side of the mat and clapping their hands and patting their back. Like, I get it. It's their thing, but I'm really not here for it. But they can go, and they can go in different styles as well. I mean, Gargano's a little bit smaller, but Ciampa especially is one of those. He's a guy that I personally would like to see on like a Rollins level, because he can go like Rollins. They just haven't really given him the proper push.
Right. Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, like, it was they got the walk-in promo. I really laughed at McAfee just fucking being terrible on the mic, talking about stealing pay-per-views on the black box. Like, don't fucking talk about that shit, Pat. We're not supposed to acknowledge that on air. And with Cole and McAfee, and and now it's been announced at this point when we watch this that Barrett and Graves are going to be on Smackdown. Like, who is the heel here? Is it McAfee or is it Cole? You don't. It's hard to tell. One. But, like, it helps tell the stories if you have one.
Yeah, you need somebody on the heel side to kind of vouch for the point, kind of sell the point that the heel is trying to make in these matches.
Exactly. And like, with Graves and Barrett, you can already tell that Barrett is kind of taken. Usually, traditionally, the play-by-play guy is the face, and the collar guy is the heel, and you can kind of see that happening on SmackDown slowly. And I want to talk about that later when we get to SmackDown, but you see Barrett you see Graves, more like you see Graves slowly turning face, and I want it to be slow. I don't want this to be an overnight thing. I don't want him to show up one week and all of a sudden be the good guys cheering for the good guys. But with McAfee and Cole, there's just like not even an attempt to push someone over as the heel. This is like McAfee is the fanboy and Cole is the guy who is the company man. I don't really know what they're going for. I mean, you got to give it time to breathe. Like I said, I don't want an overnight change, but they really didn't do anything in this entire episode to show me anything about what their future plans are for this. But yeah, no breaks. I must have missed like some announcement that they were going an hour long with no commercials or something. Like they just kept going. It just kept happening.
Yeah.
Not really sure what happened there, how I missed that, but the match still keeps going. It's a solid match. It's a championship match, which doesn't bode well for DIY. It never does. A championship match of the first match of the night. Pretty standard rote stuff. You knew DIY wasn't going to win the championship here. But, you got two tag teams who work very well together. DIY specifically because Gargano and Ciampa have been working for so long.
Yeah.
And, you got to think about Priest and Finn now have been working together for almost a year. So they have a couple spots.
This is one of those matches that I was thinking about while watching. Because, like I said in our last episode, spent some time watching these older pay-per-views. And the speed of this match is insane. They're just hopping over each other. And that's kind of like the style of Gargano and Ciampa. Am I saying that right? I think so.
Yeah.
And with Finn and Priest in there as well, they're also like vibing with that style of wrestling where they're just bouncing off ropes. Like I was just so impressed with the acrobatic nature of the match. and and a guy that's Priest's size as well, because Priest is a big guy. He can keep up with that and just keep it going and keep it going and keep it going.
Yeah, it was a very impressive match, and the lack of breaks really helped it for sure. Like it was a go pace the whole time. Nothing was really rough until that one rope spot, where like I don't really know if you're going to have a team member come in and put the foot on the rope, like, and the referee sees it clearly on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you just DQ him at that point? But it is kind of like a break in a way, like if you run in and you break up the pin. So it's kind of similar to that.
Like,
but why go for the secret? Yeah, like, because it was a secret rope break. I believe it was Finn was being pinned, and Damien came in and tried to put his foot on the rope. But
right.
It doesn't have to be secret if it's a tag match, and we've already established that you can just run in and break up a cover by smashing it into the pile. So either, why don't you just, like, from the side, just pull him out, or smash the pin. Like, I just didn't really make sense from a match perspective, but that's WWE. A lot of this shit doesn't make any sense with the rule book. I just wish it did more.
Yeah.
But whatever. It was a great match. There was a couple of fails. It was a great start to the show. Like, they went out there and they put on a great match, and you feel really ready to go into the rest of this 3-hour adventure that Raw can be sometimes. But, having like an hour with no commercials, oh boy, let me tell you, get ready for the commercials in the second half. You know what's going to happen.
Well, and it's funny to think about this episode now, because this was still before this past weekend. So you're like, everything is still like great. And you're like, okay, let's keep it going. Like, something sucked. CM Punk is out, but the show has got this momentum to it. And that's going to lead to
you're feeling good about it.
You're feeling good.
You're still feeling good about WWE at this point. You get the truth spot and that with the fucking augmented reality and the live, laugh, love sign with the
Great
JD stuff. Like sad people. So fucking good. Dom wants to crack so hard with truth in the ring. He's just so desperately he's just biting that bottom lip, trying so hard, chewing that gum. Doesn't want to break. It's so, like, we all love truth. He's getting over with the comedy wrestling with a lot of people that hate comedy wrestling too. Like, he is a home run for 95% of the people who are watching this show. He is just, protect him at all costs. Keep it up until this thing is dead in the water. Like, it's just so absolutely amazing.
I don't even know how it will end up dead in the water, because it's so good. It works so well.
When Truth was like fucking when Truth was like, we're like a family. Priest, you're like a big brother to me. Priest is, I don't even know if it was on mic, he's like, you're older than me.
Yeah.
Holy
Truth
hell.
No sells it. He just like keeps on talking.
And then they jump him and beat the shit out of him. Miz comes in with the save, quote unquote, and like whatever. It was good. It was good stuff. Spoilers for later on in this episode, but you knew that Truth was going to consider it a jump, and like he just fucking knew. He's like, yeah, you jumped me in, guys. You beat me up. I'm initiated. I'm part of the team now. Like, we still have no commercials, which is wild. We get Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Baszler and Stark. They're plugging NXT during the match. It's going to be quick. There still isn't a commercial.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, man.
Match.
I skipped over this one, and it has nothing to do with them, but it kind of has to do with like I don't know where this is going. I have a lot of invested interest and a lot of things going around them right now. So I kind of moved forward from that. Like even a little bit like the DIY stuff, I wasn't really paying attention that much. So I was just kind of like, all right,
fair enough.
I'm paying attention to the Judgment Day. Where's Truth? Show me Truth. All right. Live, laugh, Truth. Okay. See that? Okay. And then we got tag team. Fuck it. Whatever. And then move on. Let's keep it going. So I don't know exactly what went on with this one. But
Nothing
they
important.
had a match.
We can go right by it.
All right,
Don't worry
let's blow
about it.
by it.
Meant nothing. It was super quick. Probably sub 5 minutes. So we finally get a commercial. We're at the top of the hour, and it's Cody time. So he comes in, he does the woes. Cody says something here that in retrospect I feel like means more, but I called it in the moment, as my notes will say. You know, Cody comes out, talks to the crowd, and says something happened the last 48 hours that really affected me. And so I'm thinking, like, did something happen to his family? Or maybe he was told The Rock's going to get the main event at WrestleMania. And I laughed to myself, hee hee ha ha. Of course they wouldn't do that. Why would they give him the Rumble win if they were going to do something as stupid as that?
Right.
Let's just ignore that for now. Seth comes in. He's walking gingerly. He is limping to that ring, which, fair enough. They're trying, I'm assuming they're going to try to keep him out of matches. Maybe have one before Mania to try to kind of recover on the sides.
Yeah.
And Rollins delivers a great promo of wanting the match. He wants Cody to pick him.
Really great promo. Honestly, before you go, to me, this particular promo from Rollins. Now, I'm certainly of the mind that like belts mean nothing unless the people make the belts mean something. Like the Intercontinental Championship, like Gunther's belt, it means something because it's Gunther's belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that anyway, this promo elevated this belt, I think, in a way that was sorely needed for it, and elevated the importance of Rollins. I've always felt
good about the belt because they've positioned it like Gunther's reign. They've positioned it as a workman's championship, a guy who goes out there and defends week after week, pay-per-view after pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any possible particular reason that Cody would choose to fight Rollins.
No.
But Rollins did a great job of selling it. And
really
in the moment, I go, what a great promo. Rollins has a lot of great points about why would you want to beat this fucking nerd, this Hollywood asshole who's never fighting. And so my interpretation of this at this moment is, oh, they're trying to get the crowd kind of second guessing it, like, oh, maybe pick Cody, put Rollins over a little bit, put the belt over. And then I started thinking about that Cody half crying at the beginning of the promo going, is there just like a weird possibility that they are going to pull Cody off of Mania for The Rock, and that like they're trying to build this up for Rollins? No, of course not. They would never be as stupid as to do something like that. They would never do that. And I pushed that right out of my brain. I make a note of it for the podcast to throw it out there. And it would have delivered a lot better last week because these are the same notes I had written for last week before everything went down.
We should have fucking just did the distance, didn't we? Shouldn't we?
Whatever. Anyways, so let's just keep moving forward with this, try to get through this Raw. We got Kofi backstage on a box yelling about stuff. Okay, cool. We got more DIY-esque backstage promos, whatever. Okay, Jay versus Bronson? Sure. That's what we're getting?
Yeah,
Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed?
Yeah, weird booking.
Whatever.
And built on a promo that Bronson Reed delivered the week before, like on the last Raw before Rumble, where Bronson just said, Jay, I challenge you. That's the build-up for this match. And that's why I don't like Bronson Reed.
But you got a lot of main eventers right now.
Yeah,
including main event Jey Uso, and you need to give them matches, and Jay's kind of stagnant right now. So whatever, I go out there and have him crush somebody that, Bronson's usually the guy doing squash matches, but this is a good opportunity to just put Jay over a little bit. So I liked Bronson's new intro. The Titantron was looking a little bit more animated with this one, with him walking through the buildings, doing the Godzilla thing, crushing some shit. I like Bronson more than you do. He's great in the ring for his size. He works safe. He's just kind of stuck right now, which is kind of the story of his entire run in WWE. They just don't really push him enough.
His ring work is fine. I don't think I have any problem with his ring work. It's just the character and the promos, the gimmick. It's just not working for me. Something, unless he puts on an actual Godzilla costume, I don't think I'm gonna I'm not. You're not going to get me over on this.
Once he puts on a giant lizard costume. And then some more like filler. We got Andrade getting a good push on the video package. Get some more Pierce and Aldis stuff, which we love. Another backstage straight to camera for Gunther coming out, which was a little bit interesting. We got the third one this night. I've got a brief Becky interview update on what her plans are moving forward. Then we get Kofi and Gunther. And we don't have anyone on the sidelines, which I enjoyed. It was just straight up Kofi and Gunther in there having a match. Yeah, Gunther was beating the living fuck out of Kofi for 2 picture-in-pictures. Do you get the pictures-in-pictures on the WWE? You don't, right? On the WWE network, on the Canada broadcast, there's no picture-in-picture on the ad breaks?
No picture-in-picture for the ad breaks.
Okay, so I watched this on my definitely legal cable. Of course. And they have picture-in-picture ad breaks for some of these matches. And literally, it was just Gunther beating the shit out of Kofi for the space of what was on television and 2 ad breaks. Picture-in-picture. Just slapping the living shit out of him. After the second break, you got a little bit of a comeback for Kofi, but we all know how this is ending. Just a weird match to make it this late, but it was a weird match to have be like so dominant by Gunther and then make it an actual match after the second ad break, and actually have Kofi come back a little bit.
Right.
I'm kind of over the Imperium New Day stuff. I hope we come to an end of that. I mean, you obviously have to have things for Vinci and Kaiser to do until Kaiser inevitably turns on Gunther and fucking Vinci ends up stuck in like mid-carding NXT in like a year and a half.
Right. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, we'll see it as we go through this episode, like how they kind of leverage this to something else. But I'm kind of with you, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for my Kaiser solo run. All right, let's break him out. Let's get that guy out there. He put him.
It's in the next 6 months.
Yeah, put him in a fucking like uniform or something. I don't know, dude. I think Gunther
drops the belt soon, maybe at Mania even, and then we get until SummerSlam. We get a dissolution of Imperium leading to Gunther Kaiser at SummerSlam.
I'm down,
and then. Just to kind of like put Gunther, just to give Gunther something to do for a couple months before they start bringing him into the main event. And maybe have Kaiser get a quick win over him at Backlash or something that was maybe interference by whatever, and then have Gunther just stomp him in like a no holds barred match at SummerSlam or whatever, and then
hear me out.
Have them go their separate ways. Maybe get drafted to different. Yep.
Hear me out. Kaiser joins New Day. Let that sit. Let that sit.
Okay, wait. Listeners, think about it.
Think about it. It could work.
Just
Kaiser, pancakes.
Think about it.
Trombones. Think about it.
Nazism. Well, themes of Nazism that aren't directly referred to as Nazism. Think about it.
Think about it.
So then we move into Kabuki Warriors versus Nox and Natalia. We all know how this ends. See you later. Not going to talk about that one. Jackie
it was like 3
Redmond.
minutes. It was like 3 minutes of wrestling. It
was absolutely nothing. Jackie Redmond's interviewing the girls who love to dance. Will, did you know they love to dance?
Apparently they love to dance.
They fucking love EDM and they fucking love dancing.
Love it. They love dancing.
And they're getting their rematch next week, and it's going to be a fucking barn burner. All right, so here comes Damage Control. Time to sow some seeds. Okay, never mind. No, it's just Bailey. Oh, wait, no, Damage Control's already in the ring. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here. That's my thoughts in the moment. No knee brace on Dakota Kai, which I thought was important in the moment, and later found out that she posted on social media that she just forgot it at her hotel room. I was like, oh man. I was like, oh, no brace on Dakota. Here comes the big turn. Dakota's gonna fuck some people up. No, she's not medically cleared. She just forgot the brace at the hotel room. Rhea comes out. The crowd has woken up after having to sit through Kabuki Warriors and Nox and Natalia and this fucking damage control promo.
Yeah.
So Rhea comes in. Rhea's telling Bayley, don't pick me. I'm going to beat the shit out of you if you do. And then Nia comes in. I believe I heard the crowd actually groan in real time. I heard a sigh collectively of the crowd going, come on, no, we don't, just go away. Or maybe it was just in my own head. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like we have to expect this coming. Like they have to get this done and over with.
Yeah, I mean, like, and obviously, like, we know where Bayley's going with this, so she's not going to pick Rhea, but this kind of gives a kayfabe reason for, Rhea to be like, don't fucking pick me, and Nia to go, don't fucking pick her, I'm coming for you. Yeah. Nia gets over on Rhea a little bit, beats the shit out of her, whatever, who cares? Rhea's not going to make it to WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. I'm assuming that it's going to be Rhea and Nia for Elimination Chamber because, obviously Rhea's going to have a big part of that card because it's in her homeland.
Of course.
You have to give her someone big to beat the shit out of. So it still leaves open the main event at WrestleMania, which, for God's sakes, we all hope it's not Rhea and Nia Jax because that's going to be a fucking boring slog of a match.
Not a Mania. I mean, we kind of know what's going to be happening here as we get through this episode.
Yeah. I mean, we can certainly, we thought we knew what was going on in this fucking company during this Raw. Everything kind of seemed normal and real and like what we expected. And then we get into fucking Smackdown. Okay.
We were so young.
Off the Raw. It was a beautiful time. Well, let me tell you, January was a wonderful month. Everything made sense. Things were normal and real. So anyways, Zayn McIntyre at the end of this. I'm really happy to see McIntyre not come out with the sword. I hope it doesn't come back for a long time. It was a stupid bit, even as a face.
Mm-hmm.
We knew what was going to happen here. Pretty straightforward. We got some interesting camera angles on a production note that we were talking about the changes in production. I thought there was some interesting camera angles they were hitting here, especially with that top rope spot with both of them.
Yep.
But, it was a back and forth, nice tight match.
These guys can work, man. These guys got chemistry in the ring. They can make it interesting. They can deliver high caliber matches, kind of like without too much effort on their end. Because this is like watching them, you can just tell like this is another day at work, but they're fucking going, man. They can go with each other.
Yeah, no, they can always have a good match no matter what. Now I don't want to sell it too short. We knew the outcome going into this, so whatever, it's fine. Raw's over. It's the Raw after Royal Rumble. They're not going to do much. Pretty straightforward. So let's get into SmackDown now. SmackDown February 2nd, live from Birmingham, Alabama.
All right. Now
it's the South.
It's a big day. I think we both I was ready for this day. Because we knew something was going to happen. There was something in the air.
There was something in the air. We got teased about a few promos. We got Roman. I think we were teased in advance of Cody delivering his decision for WrestleMania.
Yes. And I think this was actually the day where I was up at like 5:30 and I was looking at Solo tweets. And I'm firing them off at Tyler. So like I'm in the mood, right?
Life was still good.
I'm having a great time.
So Cody comes in and he's got a great doggo. See this dog?
Great doggo. And
this dog is fantastic. Like Cody. It kind of does look like dog version of Cody. It's got the bleach blonde hair. He barks.
Neck
and
tattoo.
He kind of goes, whoa. And then Logan Paul starts us off, which I did not anticipate. And we
great
see,
play, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the first. We see our first experience here with Cody Graves and Barrett, and it does look like Graves is taking the play-by-play, and Barrett is moving to color. Lots of bullshit with Logan, but he works the crowd so well.
He works it.
They're giving him whats,
what he's doing,
and he knows exactly how to play those whats.
Absolutely. And you could see him like work it out. Like, okay, they're doing it. Let me lean into it. They're going to keep doing it. Like, he knew that the crowd was not going to stop. So let's just lean into it a little bit more and keep it going. But he knew how to stop it too. Because when he got to the end of his promo, he knew how to kind of like keep on talking so people didn't have the opportunity to say what again. I thought it was kind of smart. This guy's born for this. It's crazy to me, but he's born for this.
He's so good at it. It's unfair how good he is at it. It's just absolutely wild. But he buries Punk, buries Seth with the injuries.
Great stuff.
I didn't think of it at the time with the Rumble finish, but I think they're setting it up so that the DQ finish will set up a rematch with KO, possibly at EC or maybe at WrestleMania. KO comes out. He has no cast, which is interesting that, they're just kind of pushing that off to the side. They're not going to talk about it ever again. I figured he was fully healed because I know that was a legit injury, but yeah, they didn't really touch on it at all. Logan playing the brass knucks as a setup. He's like, I got you. I fooled you. I knew when I got those brass knuckles you were going to take them from me, and then I was going to get you disqualified, which, again, great work. Great work by the writers. Great work by Logan. And I can't remember what exactly KO said, but KO said something derogatory about Prime, and then Logan's delivery of must not have been cherry freeze. That flavor's delicious.
Yeah, they were talking about like Logan's like, and you smell like trash, and he's like, I bathed in Prime on the way here, and he's like, well, it must not have been cherry freeze. That flavor's delicious, and he like looks over at the crowd.
So funny.
I bought $100 worth of Prime in that moment. I was like, send it over, cherry freeze, let's go.
I'm ready to be cool like the kids. I'm ready. So the Theory comes out, and we get Theory Owens. I was watching. just wanted to put it here. So I'm watching the very illegal feed that I have on my cable, and I'm watching the New York City feed of the show. So it's, the Fox New York City affiliate. And during the break, they played like a hip hop inspired ad about joining the New York City correctional facilities, like department. like, do you want to have a lot of money, but you don't have a lot of school? Well, then be a correctionals officer, and it will be real cool. We got some we got some good health care. We can pay for all your pills. Just join Correctionals New York and get all the thrills. Like, it was this really bad throwback to
Is that the image you sent to our group chat of like this dude that was in one of these commercials, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh God, I don't remember what one I sent to. Because you get a lot of fucking wild ads in the States when you watch these. It's absolutely
advertising
insane.
Down there is crazy.
You can just get away with anything. You just advertise like, oh, this pill is going to make you feel great. It's going to make all your problems go away. And then they have to list off all of these like side effects that could potentially happen if you have this pill, including like your asshole exploding. Die. You could just die. You could just fall apart. Mm-hmm. But Logan's on the mic, which is even weirder because now we have what is essentially 3 heels on the mic. We got Graves, Barrett, and Paul. And Logan is doing a great job by like subtly putting KO over and putting Theory over, but still not like weakening his position as like what he considers to be top of the sport, which was great. He's just like, again, he's just so good at this, and he's so good. Wild how good he is.
And throughout this entire match, when he was out at commentary, he did this once before a couple months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I noticed that time he was quite quiet and he was very analytical about the match. And he wasn't really like smack talking at all. But I think he was still he just became U.S. champion at that point. Or maybe was just about to go into the U.S. championship. Like maybe this is around like when Ray was still wrestling a bit. And he was quiet. This is a completely different Logan Paul that we're getting. He is fully in character, but he's not overstepping his boundaries. He's making very entertaining calls while the match is going on, but he knows when to shut up and let the rest of the commentating crew do their job. And then when they ask him a question, he hops in, he does their thing. And the thing that I thought was really interesting about his like awareness about how this all works is that they do a shot of Graves and Barrett just talking to the mic or talking to the camera right before a commercial break or something like that. And in the background is Logan just doing these like fake punches, like he's really into the match that's going on. And he's just chewing scenery behind him. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, how do you know how to do this already? You know?
He always knows where the camera is. He always knows the moment to pick. He is just fucking locked in. And it's so wild how good he is at this.
It's crazy.
I can't believe it. Anyways, so Theory.
Get him in the fucking... I think I texted Tyler right after this match. I was like, give him a fucking Hall of Fame entry, like right now. Just give it to him.
He's done more than Snoop Dogg has ever done for this company.
Hands down.
You can put him in the celebrity category now and then reinduct him in 10 years as an actual wrestler.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
But yeah, good finish. You know, we get into the false finishes. Good match. Paul tries to feed Theory with the knuckles. We get more callbacks to the match at Royal Rumble. Paul distracts the ref by accident. Owens gets the reversal. Theory gets fucking knocked out. Owens chases him through the crowd. You know, it's just like really, really good, solid stuff.
Yeah.
We start walking into... yeah, go ahead.
The disappointing thing about this match is I feel like Waller is starting to get buried more and more and more.
Yeah, and I prefer Waller as the little shitheel friend of Theory than what they had him doing before. The Grayson Waller effect seemed like it was kind of given to him a little bit too early. They love those talk show segments for different people, but I feel like it was kind of bestowed on Waller a little bit too early.
His was one of my favorite ones. I did like the Grayson Waller effect. I thought his gimmick led to the Grayson Waller effect a little bit more than I think other talk show types that are out there. I like hearing him on the mic. I don't know if he's that necessarily I don't know if he can just go in the ring as much. I have a theory if he's actually injured at the moment but still wants to work, and they haven't really they're trying to make it happen still, because he wasn't even in Rumble.
You might be right. Like, it definitely is a possibility.
Or just changing up his work lifestyle. I don't know. Like, I like Waller, and I don't want to see him go away. But if this is kind of like their way of kind of burying him and maybe moving him to NXT, I'd be a little upset about that, because I like Waller. I like Waller on the mic. I just don't want him to disappear.
I don't think that's it. I think it might just be a way for them to punt either Theory... Well, punt both Theory and Waller a little bit further down the line and then have a turn there and have one of them turn face. Because Theory really should be in the upper mid-card challenging for U.S. championships and the like. And obviously he's going to be a world champion at one point, if I had to guess. But yeah. I think maybe this is a good way for them to just take 6 months of these two being borderline comedy content on the shows and having them be little piss ants until we can get to a place where maybe it's a little bit more open for one of them to make a run. Either I can't imagine they'd put Waller over Theory, but maybe you put Theory over Waller, but you give Waller the face turn. Hard to say. We'll see where it leads.
Yeah,
but I think we're still quite a bit of ways away from this resolving into anything. Yeah. But yeah, so a decent match, and then we get Bianca asking for a shot for the title from Aldis. Logan interrupts, which was also great. Logan again on fire. He wants a match so that he's not taken as a part-time champion like Roman. But Logan still takes that brief moment to put Bianca over. And that's got to be like, for all of these people who have worked their entire lives to be, WWE wrestlers, it's got to be great for them just to get that little rub off of Paul. For Paul to put them down as a heel, but then still just deliver one little thing to the crowd to be like, hey, no, these guys do fucking rock. And I really appreciate that about him.
Yeah, he's like, I love you. Thank you so much. And then he just fucks off.
And then he just fucks right off.
And I think that also comes down to the fact that I think Logan is very appreciative of his position inside the company right now. I do not get the vibe that he's like taking any of this for granted. He's taking this very, very seriously. I've actually tuned into his podcast quite a bit lately. And I say that knowing that, like, literally a year ago, probably even like 2 years ago or somewhere around there, I would have been up there with the most like anti-Logan Paul crowds out there. And now I'm just completely reversed. And the interviews that he's having with the other wrestlers in WWE on this podcast, he's got a serious respect for these guys, and he's asking really strong questions. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. His interview that he did with John Cena almost made me cry.
Wild.
At work.
Wild.
At work. Fuck,
I mean,
man.
like, he's playing a character both in WWE and in real life. And I think he's been playing that character in real life for long enough that that's what helped him translate so well to WWE. Is like, I think he's kind of working everybody on a day-to-day basis, whether or not it's in wrestling or just the real world. So I think he's got experience on playing that character, and seems like at the end of the day, he's probably a lot more down to earth than he portrays himself as.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep moving it forward here.
Yeah, this one I can go pretty quick here. So I missed the Pretty Deadly intro because I was fast forwarding. But for me, not seeing the Pretty Deadly intro, I just see like this weird ass fucking filmed segment, the cinematic promo with Escobar and the fake LWO, Legados del Championinos. I don't fucking even know their name. I get it. Like you said, they're cartel. Sure, why not? They're the evil Spanish guys against the good Spanish guys.
Yeah, they're leaning into it. It was a weird segment, though.
It was a weird segment, and then for someone who did not see Pretty Deadly come to the ring, they just cut out of it, and it's like, oh, they're in the ring. Oh, and there's like 3 other teams in the background. Okay, so we got LWO. We got fake LWO. Pretty Deadly, who is severely underutilized. And, and we got Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Okay.
Yeah. And they're both, like, weren't these guys, I guess not, because Pete Dunne, when he was Brutus, he was in the Brawling Brutes.
Not Brutus, Butch.
Butch, sorry. But Tyler Bate wasn't in Brawling Brutes, right? This was before I tuned back in.
Right, so Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate were both a big part of NXT UK, which is now dead because of COVID, pretty much. And they can go, but they're smaller dudes. And then Dunne got the call up, and they renamed him Butch because probably Vince McMahon. And like they have they have a team history. I believe it was British Strong Style was their name.
Okay.
And which will probably slowly get introduced into what we're doing here on Raw. But leading into this, I figure, okay, so fake LWO is going to win because they get the promo.
Really? You thought that?
I did think that because they say, but then they said it's a championship qualifier match. So it's a 4-way for the opportunity to be in a one-on-one match to then challenge Judgment Day for the tag titles at Elimination Chamber. And then I thought, I don't think they're going to really waste Pretty Deadly, they're not going to waste the LWO, fake LWO rivalry. They're not going to interrupt it for a couple weeks here to do that. So it's probably going to be Pretty Deadly or Dunne and Bate. So then I start thinking, It's going to be one of the two, and they've already underutilized Pretty Deadly hard right now, and they're not really in a rivalry with anyone, so they've been pushing Dunn and Bate and trying to make them more serious, so it's probably going to be those two.
Yeah,
so
that's
the
what I
match
was
starts.
thinking. Like literally as the match was starting, I was like, it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Right, especially after they had one of those cinematic promos last week on Raw. Same as the fucking Cartel fake LWO. So it's a fucking Tornado tag team champion, or not even Tornado. It's just a 4-way tag match where anyone can get tagged in. No DQ. Lazy booking. Here comes exactly what I think it's going to be. It's a bunch of really cool spots and flips and flops and lots of setups and who the fuck is the legal man. You know, I knew exactly what we were getting into going into this. And then they wasted, we were talking about this on the last episode, they wasted the launch. They wasted the big launch off the ropes on this meaningless fucking 4-way tag team match. Yeah, save that shit for PLE.
Yeah, and it was at a weird point where they didn't even have time to fucking like build it up or anything, because when they did it on NXT, there was a level of build up to get to that launch. But here it just kind of like happened, and I see in your notes here like they didn't even like utilize the camera angle.
Oh, it was a terrible camera angle.
To show the distance. It
didn't sell the distance. Yeah, exactly.
It felt weak.
It did, and they fucked it up. And then when they showed the replay coming back from the break, they picked the wide camera angle, and it looked fucking fantastic. But in the moment,
awesome.
You're so close up that it doesn't sell the amount of distance that he gets, and it's just a big old fart noise.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think it's one of those things that because it happened on NXT, they wanted to put it on the main roster just for because more eyes would be on that move, but. When they first did it on NXT, that clip went viral for the fans. We all saw that clip.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that okay, we know this already, and for those who already know, and you're not going to really sell anybody on this unless you do it properly, like you said, on a PLE.
Yeah, and I just feel like it was such a waste. Even if you have it on the WrestleMania undercard or something. Whatever. This match is what I thought it was going to be. It was a bunch of really cool spots, but no rules. Who the fuck is the legal man? You never know. When is it going to end? Who knows? Who the fuck knows who the legal man is?
One last thing to point out. The legal man thing was I didn't pay attention. But thing I noticed here, and I'm talking to you, Tyler Bate. What the fuck were you wearing? What the fuck was that pair of trunks you were wearing? That was because I have them. I got them right there in a laundry basket. All right.
He does have terrible ring attire, and he always has. That's kind of his look. And
it's just straight up tighty whities. Even the stitch line.
I know. Especially for a man that size, they're really not doing him any favors.
A man that shape.
Yeah. Because he can fucking go, but he's also 5 foot nothing and 100 pounds. So, maybe try to accentuate some other things other than him wearing tighty whities and a pair of chucks to the ring.
Not great. Sorry.
Let's move on. Quickly, Tiffany Stratton is getting the unceremonious call up to Smackdown, which is fine. She's going up against Mi Chin later, so that's going to be a quick win for Tiff whenever she comes out. We'll talk about that later. So Bayley comes out and she's going to make her pick. And, we don't see any Dakota Kai, which is interesting. Maybe a storyline coming up here because it all kind of goes the way we think it's going to go. Bayley delivered a good promo for the most part, but the whole thing seems so overly scripted with both Bayley's words and the Japanese girls laughing behind her back. A lot of little mispronunciations in Bayley's promo, she's reading off a script. It was a very quick end to Damage Control, and I thought they were going to drag it out a little bit longer, especially after it took so long for them. They were hinting at it for so long that I think when it did happen, it was going to be a bit more drag, not just in a 10-minute, 5-minute segment. I guess they did lead up to it for a long time, but it still felt a little quick and rushed.
Yeah, I agree. This is the point where I think hindsight 2020, when I went back and kind of rewatched parts of this Smackdown, this is the point where I feel like something is in the air here. Something is cooking that everybody knows about, but we don't, because at the moment we don't know it's about to happen. But I think part of like Bayley's kind of like delivery here on the promo, maybe I'm reading into this, but going back and looking at it, there's something I can feel something. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I mean, I didn't feel that at all, but I didn't watch it again. So
yeah, something felt weird. But I'm reading into it. I like to read into this.
Maybe everyone is finding out backstage what's about to happen.
Well, I think everybody's like, all right, just be careful. Rock could do something to you.
Rock could maybe fight Io at WrestleMania. We don't know. He could make the pick. Know.
Triple H is like, he's just shrugging. The only answer he has backstage right now for anybody is just shrug.
Giant shrug. So now we get a 6-man, Final Testament versus Lashley and the Profits. And just this match just evolves real quick. It's not even a match. They just brawl and shit. But
yeah.
So so Final Testament is like they're like the devil and stuff, right? Like they're like Satan worshippers or something.
Fucking metal, man.
But like AOP are wearing like military cargo vests with a bunch of spots for like grenades and stuff and knives.
Yeah, when I was watching this with Kate, my fiance, and she was like, even she likes wrestling, and she can get behind the gimmicks, she can catch the gimmicks and stuff like that. And she was just one of the first things she said to me while we were watching this. She was like, "Is this military Judgment Day?" I was like, "Kinda, yeah, you nailed it."
I mean, yeah, that's kind of a good point. We already kind of have the Satan group going on with JD. This is like the Ultra Satan group. But, whatever. So they all start brawling. No bell happens. And then BFAB comes out. And, like, they had BFAB talking to Bobby right around when the Profits joined him, which was, 3 or 4 months ago?
Mm-hmm. There
was a segment with her talking to him after Uncle Phil got fired, after LA Knight fucking killed his career. It's interesting with the whole BFAB thing. Like, they still kept her around after dumping the other two. What was their names? Do you remember?
No clue. This was like
Crime Time? No, that's way too early.
This was bizarre to me. I had no idea what to make of this.
Basically, they're doing the same thing they did with the fake LWO. They're just evening up the teams so that it makes a little bit more sense for them to go, 5-on-4 with Paul Ellering, and is the only exception to not have a match with I'm gonna say this right now, guys, just because I don't have a better name for it. Team Black, because that's what they're doing here. They're doing they're doing like spooky devil people and Team Black, and I get it, and that's fine. It's just like I don't know how long we're gonna have to suffer through this, and how long. I mean, I guess you have to distract Lashley. You have to put Lashley somewhere, because he should be challenging for the world championship, because he is a monster human being.
Yeah,
but you got to kind of have to have him doing something.
Yeah, but the card's so stacked, and they have nowhere to put him right now. It's just, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and so now he's just fucking dicking around with Karrion Kross, who, as I said last week on the pod, if you want to put Karrion over, you get him the win over this group, but you can't because you have Lashley and Montez on this team. Lashley being one of, not the biggest stars, but certainly one of the most believable monsters in wrestling, in WWE, and Montez, who is also going to be a fucking star at some point. So you know they're not going over him. So it's all just a bunch of nonsense. Let's just move on. Can we just move on from this?
Let's move on.
Can we move on from this every podcast? Can we just be like, yeah, this is what happened. We'll give like a 10-second summation and move on until inevitably Lashley just like murders Karrion Kross in the middle of the ring?
Sure. I'm happy with that.
Beautiful. Okay.
Motion approved.
Motion carried. Let's go. Okay, so Braun's making the jump, it looks like. Lesnar's loss is his gain for sure. We hear that Jade's going to make her pick soon between the two brands. Tiffany Stratton comes out to fight Mi Chin. I no doubt that she's going to beat the living fuck out of her, which is exactly what happened. I'm a big fan of Tiffany Stratton.
Me too.
She's, I've watched a little bit of her on NXT. I like the character. I like her promos. She can go in the ring. It's a different approach than anything they really have on the roster right now. Like there's some shades of Chelsea Green and characters of that nature, but she has the body to back it up and the work rate to back it up. So it makes it a lot more believable, and I think there is a spot for her on this main roster and a place for her to thrive. We'll see what they do with her.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Typical stuff. Michin starts hot. Tiffany gets the comeback, goes through the break, beats the shit out of her. She's a bit... What I'll say about Tiffany, she's a bit gymnasty. She's a bit gymnastic-y, like the dance squad. The girls who love to dance. Have you heard about these two? Carter and Chance?
They love to dance, right?
They fucking love dancing. They love EDM and they love dancing. So it's kind of a similar bit as that in her style, but she can go at 100% and go fast instead of those two, which go at 75% speed.
Well, because they got to save energy for dancing.
Because they got to dance. All right, so let's get to it because we're going to fucking go. It looks like we got another 2-hour pod here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Here comes Roman.
And it happens.
Roman's coming out. And I'm really sad right away because Cody comes out and there's no dog. And in this moment, watching this live, I think that's going to be the worst part of this, is that there's no dog.
Yeah,
and
you think, right?
How wrong I was, Will.
Yeah.
How and I'm thinking there, Cody comes out, he's cutting a promo, and I'm thinking, wow, they're really setting up Mania double time here. You got Bayley already turning on DC, or DC turning on Bayley, and Bayley's picking Io, and everything's falling into place very quickly on the lead up to Mania, and now you got Cody coming here to call out Roman right away, and they're out there distinctly and succinctly just dismissing all of the Seth Rollins things that he said on Monday. Both Cody and Roman. Roman shitting all over Seth, calling it the real belt. Cody's like, that's not the real belt. Roman, you have the real belt. And then he says, I want to take everything from you. And then I get a little scared when he says that. And then he says, I'm not going to do it at WrestleMania. And I yelled. I yelled vocally in my living room.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew what was going to happen if you smell what The Rock is cooking. So here comes Dwayne. And I am so angry. Immediately.
So I have footage of me during this as well.
Maybe we'll pipe it in here.
We might pipe a few clips here, but my fiance took some footage of me reacting to what was going on SmackDown, because I watched a couple hours behind, and she was up to date on the news. She was checking it, and she was grilling me throughout the entire night, going like, "What do you hope you want happen? What do you want to happen at the end of SmackDown?" And I'm like, well, the right answer, of course, is Roman Cody. So I'm going to go with Roman Cody. I hope that Roman Cody. And I'm like coming into this like chipper. And as the segment's progressing, my fiance starts taking footage of me as I'm watching this. And, he says, Cody says he's not going to do it at WrestleMania. And there's a clip of me going, audible gasp.
Wait, what? Getting out of the ring? Leaving? Cody, you're getting robbed. You're playing it really well, but you're getting robbed. You're getting robbed, Cody.
Ugh. I'm just so angry. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt in this moment. I'm okay.
I don't know how to process it. I don't know how
I'm
to
like,
process it.
let's see where this goes. This could go many directions. Perhaps Roman's gonna say something about Cody taking away the belt and Rock taking away the head of the table and whatever. Let's see where this goes. So Rock comes in doing his Rock thing. And then, he gives Cody a little bump on the entrance, and then he whispers something to him. And God, I wish I knew what he whispered. Like, sorry for fucking you over. Don't worry, you'll get your chance at WrestleMania 45. And I'm so angry. I'm so very angry.
The rumor is that from what people saw on the other side, is from like reading his lips, but there's no credence to this. I don't see any video of this happening, but the rumor is that he said Dusty would have loved this.
Oh, I hate that even more.
Yeah, I
fucking hate that so much.
There's something there, and the handshake that they do, I feel like is also a call to Carl Weathers, which passed away earlier that day or the day before.
Is he dead at this point?
I think he was dead at that point because in the footage that Kate took of me, I'm like, that's a Carl Weathers.
Maybe he was dead at that point. Anyways, that's not important.
Yeah, it's not important.
Anyways, so he comes out. They do the thing. He whispers. And then there's still Bloodline members all around the ring. So Cody then leaves, which makes even less sense. Because, like, if you're going to be on The Rock's side here, don't you want to back up The Rock when you got Solo and Jimmy around the ringside? Getting angrier. Birmingham, Alabama starts going, this is awesome. And Birmingham, Alabama, I got news for you. This is not fucking awesome. This is terrible. I am enraged at this point. So they start staring at each other. And then they hit the fucking credits. They hit the credits. Wow.
Back up.
They don't even say anything.
Weird. This is awesome chant is weird because you can hear that there's another syllable in there. Like it's not like perfect. This is awesome chant. And from what I could tell, it seemed like this was them going, this is not awesome. And they were there was a balance between this is not awesome and this is awesome. And they're fighting back between each other. Now, this is just my conjecture because of the quality of audio that I was working with. But to me, it sounded like it was a half and half. This is awesome and this is not awesome. And then, like you said, they get closer, they face off. Roman raises the belt, and then a little promo for a fucking press conference this coming Thursday comes on screen, and then the little credits thing
just
cuts black.
Just fucking brutal.
And here, Tyler, I want you to put in my live reaction to this.
Do you want the live reaction of it happening or the aftermath?
The aftermath. Sorry, my aftermath reaction. I want you to insert it right here. I'll let the people know how I felt about this situation.
You fucking idiot! It could have been so great. You could have shut the fuck up. You better be dying. You better be fucking dying. Fuck, man. That little boy, that Cody boy, has so much going for him. He's gonna be a man. To Earth. And they fucked us.
Jesus Christ, man. You feel better?
Fucked us. The Rock fucked us. You know what The Rock is cooking? Shit. Fucking garbage. He's cooking up trash. Just rancid shit. He's cooking it and he's smelling it. And He's taken WrestleMania to rock bottom. He ruined months of great television. Cocksucker.
You feel better?
No.
Yeah, no, it's just fucking wild. I mean, okay,
I'm upset.
So we're sitting here at 140-ish of this podcast. Will, how much do we want to talk about this before we head into the next draw?
I mean, let's just keep going. Like we got to get through it all because this whole weekend is worth talking about.
It really is. Like, it's been a wild couple weeks. If you're listening to this podcast and you're deep enough in wrestling that you're listening to these two fucking bozos talking about it, then I'm sure you're aware of everything that has come out in the aftermath. I'm going to give a quick summation here. Try to slam this in the next 30 seconds. So, this all happens. The internet is pissed. We Want Cody starts trending. Everyone is talking about how this is a bad idea universally. Some stuff comes out. We've got the TKO side that this sounds like it actually came up from higher. That TKO made the choice, not Triple H, not creative. We're talking Ari Emanuel. We're talking the board. They want it to happen because it's a big name event for Mania. It's Rock. It's Roman. All the casual fans, people who don't really watch anymore, they're going to come back. They're going to tune in for this. However, the internet community and the people who are diehard fucking hate it because we've been watching this Cody storyline for 2 years. They cockblocked us last WrestleMania. We were sure it was going to come back around now. And there was this idea that when they cockblocked us last year that like, hey, yeah, it's fine. If you want to punt for another year, you can build a story in which Cody will win and it'll be more satisfactory. However, what happens if Rock comes back and wants to fight Roman? Then what the fuck are you going to do? And it's all coming to fruition in front of our eyes and it's very frustrating. So the internet is going wild. The internet is super fucking pissed because, rightfully so, we have been following Cody's story. We all love Cody. He's the biggest babyface in the company and we want to see him kick the shit out of Roman at Mania and win the title that they stole from his daddy in the garden. And so, finish the story! That's basically where we are right now. It's come out and different things have come out where like maybe it's a work, maybe it wasn't a work, but now they're going to make it a work now to kind of like now they want to backtrack a little bit and maybe they knew what they were doing to rile us up and maybe they aren't. And we're still kind of stuck right now in the middle of nowhere, not really knowing what's happening. What's come to fruition lately is maybe perhaps in early January, Rock started talking about coming back into the fold. And that potentially it was decided before Royal Rumble that The Rock was going to fight Roman at Mania, which makes even less sense to have Cody win the Rumble. Just bring The Rock in at 30 and have him win the Rumble. We'd still be pissed, but we wouldn't be this pissed. Not even close to this pissed. And I mean, Punk gets injured, and so perhaps that's part of it, and the Vince shit. So that is also another kind of way that people are looking at it, that potentially they wanted to do this they wanted to do Roman Rock at like SummerSlam or at one of the Saudi shows after Mania, after Cody had beat him to strip him of the head of the table, but they wanted to kind of deflect from the Vince shit, and maybe The Rock has a fucking movie filming in August. And maybe there's also other like talk on the internet that maybe The Rock is talking about he wants to beat Roman, which makes even less sense because The Rock can't fucking defend the championship on a week-to-week or month-to-month or even the bullshit schedule Roman's been pulling basis.
It'd be way less than what Roman's been doing lately.
And he's not doing shit.
2 years. He's not doing shit. So it makes no sense on every level. And with the idea coming into this that like we're gonna bring in the casual fans, like even casual fans have access to the internet, and they're even when they look that up, The Rock is facing Roman Reigns. I want to check in on that, and then they go to Twitter and they see that the audience that is invested in this hates it. What do you think the casual fans are gonna really gleam off of? Or like glean from this, they're gonna also go like, okay, maybe this is stupid.
It's It's just wild stuff. I'm just going to pitch right now what my hope is what happens. My main hope, which is not going to happen, it's become increasingly evident that it's not going to happen, is that Rock beats Roman at the Elimination Chamber. He doesn't go for the belt. He goes for head of the table, and he strips him of head of the table. Then the bloodline dissolves over the next couple months. They pull a swerve. Cody faces him at Mania and takes the belts. Alternate pitch, which is more likely, is that The Rock does not challenge for the championship. He challenges exclusively for head of the table. He beats Roman at Mania, takes the head of the table. Cody then takes the belt off of him at Saudi or at SummerSlam. It's much less satisfying, but maybe it's something other than waiting for Cody for another fucking year. Like, I want him to have that Mania moment, but if you put the belt on him at SummerSlam or Saudi, then you have a chance of having Punk come back and win a championship eventually, and then have Punk and Cody at next WrestleMania.
Which could be huge.
Absolutely. And that's...
if booked right.
You know. And then, well, there was another thing I was pitching too, is that night one... What was my pitch for the Super Duper King Shit Championship? Do you remember? Because it was great.
Yeah, okay. So I think your pitch was at Elimination Chamber, Cody takes the World Heavyweight takes the title of the World Heavyweight Championship.
Right.
Then at Mania, something happens and he's able to get the Universal title and then uniting the titles at Mania. But
I do think that this ends with Cody winning all, I guess technically 3 championships, but they've eliminated. It's undisputed in the world. I think this ends with Cody winning both as a makeup for how much they fucked him around. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But I do think that is the end game here moving forward.
Which could work, but it's hard not to feel like the win was taken out of our sails here.
Absolutely. It definitely is a betrayal by the company, and it might be a work, but I don't think it is. I think they thought this was going to be great, and everyone is just going to fucking hate it. And they're going to try to position it as it was a work all along, but I think if they do change the plans, it's going to be a pivot.
So this is Tyler and I for the entire weekend. We're constantly texting each other. We're sending each other like news updates. We even see each other on Saturday night. I think the first thing we do to each other is we do the Weeda ones, finger point in the air, just sad.
Everyone hates us. Will had an album. Will's band had an album release on Saturday, and I was there for the show. And basically, Will and I just talked about wrestling the entire time until Will went on stage, and then I danced and I sang. And I showed my support for my good buddy Will. And then we talked about wrestling some more, and I got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and it was a terrible night. All I could think about was Cody. I was in the mall earlier that day, and I'm with Kate, and she like points out some clothes, and she's like, "Oh, that's cute." And I don't even respond. I don't even acknowledge that she's talked to me at that moment. And she's like, "Hey, I'm talking to you." I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Cody."
Hey, Will, acknowledge me. And then you punched her right in the face. Oh my God! Triggering! No!
So, yeah, I was going through a lot this weekend. And the thing that we were all waiting for, which we're going to talk about, I think, right now, is what will the response be on Monday Night Raw? Because the response that is getting over this weekend, the amount of articles that are getting pushed out, we're hearing comments from Dave Meltzer, and we're hearing comments from other TKO like behind the scenes people. We're hearing stories from people backstage at Smackdown going like, I don't know if this is going to work out. So there is so many rumors and just stories going on, and it's controversial as fuck. So you know that they're going to have to address it on Monday Night Raw. So Tyler, let's go. Let's take it to Monday Night Raw this week.
Okay, so it's Raw. It's February 5th live from St. Louis, Missouri. And we got Seth leading off the program. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. Everyone knows what we want to talk about. What do you want to talk about, St. Louis? We want to talk about you getting fucked over, Cody. So out comes Seth. Crowds wants Cody. Seth goes, you know what? You got him. Cody, get the fuck out here. Let's talk about it.
Hold on. Right before, I totally forgot about this. So on Sunday night, there's promos going out for Monday Night Raw regarding what we can possibly see in terms of the booking.
Oh God, I forgot about it. Oh man,
and
I forgot about it again.
Yes.
I'm going to talk a lot on this program about how much I forget about what is going to happen at the end of this program. And I even forgot to talk about it at the beginning of this podcast, of this section of the podcast. Continue.
So this Sunday, WWE has been playing it safe, but you go to any video on their Instagram, on their Twitter, on anything that they post is just nonstop. We want Cody. Hashtag we want Cody. You fucked over Cody. Cody over Rock any day. Rocky sucks. It's nonstop. And then they post the video saying Shinsuke Nakamura attacks fucking Cody Rhodes backstage in Texas. And it's just a quick clip of Cody Rhodes coming backstage and Shinsuke spitting paint in his face, doing his little shimmy dance, and then fucking off. And then Adam Pearce posts a little video going like, guess what, people? Tomorrow night, Cody Rhodes, Shinsuke Nakamura, bull rope match. I send this to Tyler, and I'm like, what the fuck are these people on?
So infuriating. So incredibly infuriating. We're going to fucking run this shit back. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. Because I have thoughts about it, but we'll talk about it when we get there. So, we'll reset here. Raw. Seth comes out. They want Cody. Seth gives it to him. Here comes Cody. Cody pops. But everyone seems just a touch hesitant with the Cody pop this week.
It's a lighter pop. Yep.
Everyone wants to hear what he has to say. So, the Rocky Sucks chant comes back big time, which is great. Love to hear it. Let's just make sure the whole Die Rocky Die thing doesn't come back, because that wasn't even a good look in like '96.
Right.
And as much as I'm mad at The Rock right now, and believe me, I'm fucking pissed at The Rock. Let's just stay away from those Die Rocky Die chants. I might, actually, I might get a little nostalgic for them if they came back. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me tell you, if the main event in Philly at Mania is Roman versus The Rock, I guarantee you will hear the Die Rocky Die chants, because that Philly crowd is wild. So
they'll eat them alive.
Seth asks, "Are you gonna fight me at WrestleMania?" And the Drew music hits absolutely right away, and Drew comes out, and in the midst of this hurricane of nonsense, Drew comes out with the confidence of 1,000 Chads. And he is on fucking fire. This heel run has just been molded expertly by him. No one wants to boo this man. And he is out here nailing it. Just nailing it.
Because he's acting like the avatar of us right now. Like this unhinged... I don't even know how to describe it, but the moment he he starts talking to Seth, and he's working this angle for him and McIntyre for the belt, and then he shows the shirt that he got commissioned, which is based off a meme that he posted on Twitter of McIntyre standing over a grave with a tombstone that says CM Punk's WrestleMania event 2024 to 2024. And I'm like, I'm so fucking in. McIntyre is crushing it. Let him cook, man. Just let him do everything he wants, because it is so good.
There's really not much more to say about this promo. Yeah, they punt on it. It's a disappointing finish.
Yeah,
but they're not gonna have Cody say he's gonna fight Roman for now. Fight Rollins for now, I guess. And we're back into another 3-hour Raw slugfest.
Yeah. And it's such a weird, this whole episode is so weird to watch. And I'm going to be honest here. This was a very hard episode for me to watch because the entire time I was watching it, I was on my phone checking updates and trying to find, like, is there anything going on backstage, or is there anything that's happened, like, if the time, like, if I'm behind the live event at all, if there's anything that's come out, like, ahead of me that people are talking about.
Yeah, you just want more news. You don't give a shit about this fucking another four-way tag team qualifying for elimination chamber.
Yeah, who gives a fuck? I don't care. I need answers for this situation that they've created here, and I'm not getting any. And I feel like throughout this entire evening, the wind is just taken out of everybody's sails here. Like, the performances don't have that oomph that you're looking for, and the crowd is just like, they're pissed. They're pissed. You can feel the crowd being pissed. Like,
I'd rather just have like an hour-long podcast with fucking Cody in the middle of the ring getting interviewed by Cole.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess in this case, Graves. No, wait.
Absolutely.
We're on Raw again. Cole.
So the crowd is not in on this. Like, even there's some good spots here as well, but the crowd is just not buying it. You can feel the crowd is not buying it. They're just, like, not popping. You can see "We Want Cody" signs, and that's where, like, things start getting weird for me when I'm, like, on the internet. So somebody posts a picture that's at the event. They said that these pieces of paper, these 8x11 white sheets of paper, are being handed out to the crowd throughout the stadium, with on it printed #We Want Cody. So now I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? Like, what is this because it's an 8.5x11 piece of paper, you can print hundreds of those and just hand them out. Like, no problem. You can just do it anywhere. You can even do it backstage as, like, a quick workaround. But I've also seen them do this for like, they would print out the logo for LA Knight and give it to people in the crowd when they want to get LA Knight over. So I wouldn't put it above WWE to run with this in some sort of way, but I find it hard to believe that this is something that they're planning or have planned in the past. Like, I struggle with the idea with The Rock going into a boardroom and going, like, the crowd will hate me and it's going to be great. Like, I don't think he positions himself.
Like, I think it's a pivot, if anything. If it is something being orchestrated by WWE, I don't think it has the foresight of several weeks. I think they saw the response and then acted accordingly. I also don't think that necessarily the signs were from WWE. I think the general consensus right now is that they weren't. That might change. That might also be a work. I don't know. But yeah, it's the Raw. You know, we start off with another four-way tagged qualify for the qualify. My bet immediately is on DIY, just because they've been getting a push lately, and DIY versus Dunn and Bate would be like a really good indie AEW style match, and they could probably go for a while. And that could actually headline like Raw or Smackdown next week. So they're probably also the only credible team to win over Judgment Day, which is they're going to lose the championships sooner rather than later, I think. Because you have to expect that this has been my theory for a long time, and this is something I've touched on with you, I believe, at an earlier date, but my theory is that we're going to get JD McDonough gave Priest the new Money in the Bank briefcase. And how long ago was that?
Oh.
4 or 5 months ago. Maybe 6.
Yeah, a while ago.
So my theory has been since the beginning of this is that was going to be the downfall of Judgment Day. Was eventually Priest was going to cash in and the contract would not be in. He was going to cash in at the perfect time and the contract would not be in the briefcase because JD McDonough switched it out when he gave him the new briefcase. So I think we're leading to the end of Judgment Day, or at least the end of Priest being into it. So I think the titles are going to come off them pretty soon. And then that might happen at WrestleMania or Elimination Chamber or something, because it doesn't really fit in WrestleMania right now, currently as constructed. So I think DIY is one of the only real tag teams that could use the bump to get over on Judgment Day, and they've been pushing them pretty hard. So yeah, anyways, it's a qualifier for a qualifier. It's the exact same thing as Monday, you know? It's a bunch of teams running around doing spots. Who the fuck is the legal man? Everyone's getting a spot in. It's fine. They come out of the break.
Even know. They don't even know who's legal at points.
Yeah, to be fair, like, they came out of the break with a Brutus covering Kaiser, and then Kaiser tagging in Vinci, and then they kept that for the rest of the match. And the finish was a nice finish by Ciampa, pushing Gargano out of the way to get the legal cover, which I really appreciated that he kept that and kept track of that, and they actually finished it with the right two people. But this is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Any comments on this?
Nope. Keep it moving.
Okay, moving on. Yep. We get a Baszler promo. I like Shayna Baszler more than most, I think. I really want to fucking end the sparkly makeup and like the stars and her ring attire. Like, she's a fucking badass. Put her out there in jeans and a tank top and a leather jacket or MMA gear. Like, just try to promote her with a little bit more realism than we're seeing would be fucking wonderful. But she's gonna fight Lynch. And we get Lynch delivering a promo with the walk to the ring too, which we talked about earlier in the show that's becoming more and more prevalent. It was great. You know, it was really good for a middle of the show women's match that didn't really mean much. I think it was an EC qualifier.
It was an EC qualifier.
You know, the wrist spot at the stairs was a bit weak, but you know they played the arm for the most of the match. They told a good story. Becky doesn't really have a lot of stinker matches, but Baszler looked way better than she normally looks in this match because Becky knows how to work with anybody, and Baszler's looked the best that she's looked since she beat the Shero to Ronda at SummerSlam, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not going to put her over to do anything. She just lost the EC match, so she's not going anywhere. Any thoughts on the match? Can I keep going?
No, keep going. I thought it was a fine match. Yeah, I'm with you with Baszler all the way. I think they got to switch up this gimmick thing to put her over in a different, new way.
Yeah, I just don't think she needs to look like every other woman out there. I think they're really doing her a disservice by kind of pasting her face with makeup like the rest of them and pushing her out there with these generic outfits and stuff, whatever. Anyways, end that shit. You got a Liv Morgan promo, weak as hell. She's great. Coming for you, Rhea. I mean, yeah, cool. You better watch out, Rhea. You're going to go down next week for sure. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Moving on. So they talk about the Nakamura Cody thing. And like I said earlier in talking about Raw, I had already forgotten about Nakamura and Cody doing the bull rope match, and it comes, they promote it, and I'm like, oh god, I completely fucking forgot they're doing this stupid bullshit.
And you're like, why? Why?
You know, I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but I love gimmick matches. I love them. But they're supposed to be for a reason. They have to have a build-up. You have a bull rope match because you have a shit-eating heel who keeps, you know, maybe they have the championship and they keep disqualifying themselves to retain, or they keep running away and counting themselves out to retain or to escape the babyface, even if there is no championship, just running away from them. And you do a bull rope match to keep them within distance of each other in order for the babyface to get his retribution. And this is out of fucking nowhere. Just literally out of nowhere. Like, we're going to have a bull rope match. Because fuck it, why not? We got to distract everyone.
Fuck it.
Anyways, I'll talk about it more when we get there. Pierce and Drew promo. Drew's going to get fined. Production hit Rhea just a tad earlier for music. Because they were doing that thing where they're doing the promo in front of a screen. And then Rhea goes out there and Pierce has got to come out and break everything up, but the production got it fucked up there, but no big deal.
No, I think this was a work. I think this was a work here because the way that Pierce sells and the way that the screen is positioned, you know, on behind Drew and Pierce, I think this was a work, and I think it was supposed to give Pierce like a level of like, I can't talk about this right now. Fuck you. I gotta go deal with this right now because she's just walking out there. So him having this like flustered running around the backstage trying to deal with nonsense angle, I really enjoyed, and especially in the wake of this "We Want Cody" movement. I want to see a little bit more of that, of like a really frazzled Adam Pearce, just like, what the fuck is going on here?
It wasn't bad. And, we get the basic thing you thought going into this. Rhea goes out. She wants Jax after what happened last week. Pearce comes out. You can have her at Elimination Chamber. And when Jax's music hit, I swear to God, I saw him mouth, "Oh, for fuck's sakes," which I really loved in the moment. I may have misread that lip, but I thought it was really good. I mean, Pearce he has great visuals, and there's a reason he's an ex-wrestler, but there's a reason they put him into this position. He knows how to play the part, and he's really good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nia Jax, go away, hate you. Then we got Tozawa and Maxine versus Viking A and Valhalla. Quick squash match. Basically,
very quick.
Exactly what you thought. The best part of the match was fucking Cole and
McAfee.
God, what's his name? Thank you, McAfee, talking about medieval times. Loved that. Huge fan of that whole interaction. Just I want to say right now, I went to medieval times. Red Yellow was my guy. He made it to the final, and he fucking won. And it was one of the greatest moments of my life.
Nice.
Red Yellow all the way, baby, every time. And then we got JD backstage. R-Truth again thinks he was jumped in. Priest just gives up and says, "Yeah, just hang out in the clubhouse, man. We got shit to do.
Make yourself at home."
Yeah, exactly. So now we got JD McDonough and The Miz.
JD accompanied by Dom. Dom doing his concierge thing. Dom is great. Like, Dom is great at everything he does. No
it's
real
weird
complaints.
because like Dom has kind of like suffered from the R-Truth thing. Because you only have so much room for Judgment Day, and R-Truth is so good that
it's true, but
like JD used to just be about Dom getting booed, and now it's more about what's R-Truth gonna do next. But they still boo Dom, so
we still boo Dom.
It's all good.
Dom's a true worker too. Like, watching him get his ass beat like week after week after week, like he knows how to work and make these matches and get people to boo him. He knows exactly what he's doing. He understands the ring psychology, the whole bit. Does R-Truth take the wind out of his sails? I don't think so. I think Truth puts him over more than he buries him. Like Rumble,
I think it's
for
more
example,
like
that tag that they did was fucking great. And
so
like
good.
Even like Dom's sell of being strangled by Gunther and then jumping to tag Truth in.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more of like it's more of a mini punt for Dom. We'll get back to booing Dom and hating Dom eventually, but for now we can just focus a little bit on Truth. Like the heat on Dom isn't going anywhere. People love to boo him. Then we come back out. We get Pearce and Imperium backstage. They want the party to be perfect. Yada yada yada. Braun comes out. It does look like Braun Breaker is getting that push. I think he's going to be full time on Raw moving forward, but we'll see what goes on with that. Then we move on to the Gunther. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a big man to do big Lesnar-esque things, right? When Bobby's
honestly,
fucking tied up with the dum-dums.
I feel like he'd probably be better utilized on SmackDown because the Raw roster is just so stacked. Like, it's really hard to maneuver. So I think if Braun, if they were playing this right, I'd probably move Braun onto SmackDown where he probably has a little bit of maneuverability with guys like Austin Theory, KO, Logan, LA Knight. There's room here in SmackDown. While I think because of Cody and the air that he sucks out of that room right now, there's not a lot of maneuverability because they're going to be putting out fires here and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. So now we got the Gunther celebration. Not much to say about this. I do love that Michael Cole and continues to stick with the Pat. Are you aware of the Pat Patterson Intercontinental Championship story?
No, I'm not.
So Pat Patterson is the first Intercontinental Champion, and it's always been said that he won it in a tournament in Rio de Janeiro. That tournament never happened. They literally just like gave him the belt in 1975 when they created it or whatever, and then stuck with that line for a long time until the internet came around and people were like, there was no tournament. And wrestlers who were around were like, we didn't go to Brazil. They just gave him the championship and told some people in New York that he won it in the tournament. And I love that they keep that going. It's really cute and I like it. I don't really know about the Jay Gunther stuff. Like, Jay does not need to be put over. There's nothing gained by him winning the Intercontinental Championship in my eyes. I think if you're going to have someone dethrone Gunther, it's got to be like a Braun Breaker, someone who really stands something to gain with that immediate win. Maybe they're just setting it up for a match at Elimination Chamber.
That seems likely to me. It does seem like this was planned. Because if you go back, like, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, before Rumble, there are segments backstage where you would see New Day, they're like licking their wounds, and then Jay would show up and you go, yeet. Yeah, you just walk away. And then, so I think they were sprinkling that in. So I don't think it was out of left field. But I think it's also, there's a lack of challengers right now for Gunther, because he's already kind of tore through the guys that are most viable, and the one, I think Jay is probably the next one in line to get tore through.
Yeah,
you know
unfortunately, maybe. I'd rather have Gunther win over Jay, honestly. Probably
Fair
with some
enough,
interference. Because I just don't think it makes sense for someone who's as over as Jay to be the one to dethrone Gunther. But we'll see where they go with that. Like I said, it's probably just setting up a match at Elimination Chamber so that all the Australians can yell yeet and they'll love it. And then boo the share to Gunther when Kaiser or Vinci comes in and betrays them. Or maybe Jimmy shows up and they set something up for WrestleMania. Maybe Jimmy at WrestleMania.
I'll take it.
You don't need to have stakes on that match. You don't need to have a championship for that. Anyways, we'll see where that goes. Another Nakamura promo. I again have blissfully forgot about this main event at this point in the match,
like,
and I remember again.
That's gonna happen.
And now I'm remembering all the Rock shit again and getting angry. And then we'll move on to the women's tag match. Will, they love to dance. I skipped
this one.
They love to dance so much. I don't know if you know about this, but they love to dance.
I know.
So it's just a bunch of bullshit.
So
let me just go.
dancing.
Let me just go off for a second here. I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds to a minute on this match. A bunch of fucking flippy, set piece laden, 3/4 speed garbage that just got worse and worse. These people have at least worked together once on television, and it's worse than the last. It's blown spots. Did you skip this match completely?
Yeah, I was not paying attention. Sorry.
Will, I want you to go back and watch this for the comedy. It is one of the worst matches on primetime WWE television in a long time. Blown spots. No. Everything is messy. Everything is slow. The crowd is just dying a slow death. This is like the third week they've put on a women's, or the third event or fourth event where they've put a women's tag spot in before the main event. And it's so fucking bad. And I'm watching it and I'm getting angrier. And then I start thinking about The Rock again. And I get even angrier. Because the fucking wrestling's so bad that I'm thinking about the Rock Cody stuff and what's going to happen with Nakamura in the next match. And I'm start getting angry again. And then I look at my television screen and there goes fucking Caden Carter or Katana Chance or one of those. Someone's flipping off the top rope and landing 3 feet away from the two Japanese girls who are also not that good at working. And then they fall over. And oh my God. Poor Asuka. Save Asuka from this nonsense. Can we end this run so that she can go back to fucking... is this her punishment for hurting Charlotte Flair? To be stuck in this match? These matches with 3 women who just do not know how to wrestle?
Yeah. It's rough.
Okay. Anyways. Quick interview with Sammy.
It was
Sammy
good.
showing some rage.
Good interview.
Love it. See where that goes. No idea what's in store for him in the future. And then
Probably another McIntyre match.
Probably. Something just more delaying. And then we get to the final. And like I said, I don't even really want to go into this too much, honestly. It's disappointing to see a bull rope match pulled out for nothing. I love gimmick matches when they have a reason for them. This had zero reason for it.
They're trying to find some reason for it, and it's such a weird. It's so Twilight Zone right now, because this bull rope match, the bull rope they're using, they make a specific point of saying like this is like the first, or maybe Dusty Rhodes, one of the ones Dusty Rhodes used. This is an old bull rope, and it has history with it. And they keep referring to Cody's family during this match. And Michael Cole, like I'm scrolling Twitter, like watching it live, and I'm like on hashtag WWE Raw, and I'm like trying to see what's going on here. And Michael Cole alludes to the match with Roman and Rock as not being set in stone yet. And then he also makes a point of mentioning that Cody has not made his choice yet. And I'm
Very
like, what
interesting.
the fuck are you doing?
Giving me hope.
Give me answers.
Giving me hope.
Which goes to show to me like this does seem like this is, they're adjusting. They're changing track from what they thought was going to be a really great reception on Friday night. And this bull rope match, it's fine. It's fine.
It was a fine match for what it was.
But it doesn't utilize the bull rope at all.
Well, that's the thing is like, and this is why I want a slight return to blood. I want WWE to have bloody matches once a month. You know, like I want, or in the right spots, once every 3 months. Like you have a match here with a weapon and this bull rope, and you're trying to make it emotional, but you're cutting to they cut to 2 breaks during this match. And at the beginning of the match, they had me. They were doing good work with the rope, some of the old spots that you see in these types of matches, and it was fine. You know, with Nakamura, I keep feeling like people want to cheer for Nakamura. It's very difficult for him to be an intimidating heel when he keeps getting beaten by everybody. So he's kind of due for another face turn. The song fucking rips. Let's be honest.
So good.
It's so fucking great. People want to cheer for him. They want to sing the song. They want him to do shit. Like when he was doing the tiny ball stuff with Miz, that was great. I liked him in that spot, even though it was more mid-card, lower mid-card stuff. I'd like to see a return to that. But, you know, even the match, they're 2 great workers. They've been in the business a long time. And then you're breaking it up with these breaks. And I'm thinking about The Rock again.
Yep.
And then I get back into the match, and then it's another break, and I'm thinking about The Rock again.
Yeah.
And they come back from the second break, and I'm hoping Cody just like dispatches them really quickly. And I think the most frustrating part of it is like this should be the match where Cody's beaten the shit out of this guy a couple times, and he got attacked again unceremoniously. Cody should be beating the living hell out of Nakamura in the middle of the ring.
Absolutely.
Cody should be choking him with that rope, whipping him with that rope, hitting him with that bell.
It should be just a slobber fest.
It really should be, and they didn't deliver. And that's something that would be really frustrating for me on it'd be way more frustrating for me on any other event. It's just the fact that it's all underlined with The Rock and Roman stuff that it almost like makes me less frustrated with it because I'm already so disappointed in the product right now that it's like I don't even have the time to be angry about the misuse of this match and in this spot.
The worst part for me was when the broadcast ended near the end of the match. So I didn't see how it culminated. My broadcast feed ended and it just went back to the very beginning. So I had to furiously go to the internet and try to find out.
Did you see the McIntyre blindside?
I did eventually, like 20 minutes later.
Oh, but it got cut off of the long. It got cut off.
But it got cut off.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't realize that. I mean, McIntyre came in with a blindside, and I think that's probably what the initial plan was for them to fight at Elimination Chamber, just to kind of give Cody something to do for a bit. And we'll see where that goes. But we only have one more Raw until Elimination Chamber. So it seems like not a lot of time to set up that particular match.
Yeah.
I don't know. Things are messy right now. Thanks to Dwayne.
At the end of it, no answers. No answers whatsoever. Actually, there were when the broadcast ended, Sami Zayn came back out. I think there was like a match with Drew and somebody else. I can't remember. Or not Drew, with Cody and somebody else. I don't exactly know. But then there was a moment at the very, very end where Sami was like, I've been hearing these 3 words for the last like 4 days, and there's something that the people want, and it's you, and you're the best. He really puts Cody over in this moment. And Cody then takes the mic. And this is the first thing he says all night. Cody doesn't say fucking anything on air. Nothing on air. And Cody's answer, or Cody's like response here, he's like, I'm really appreciative. It feels so good to be wanted because I've always wanted you, the fans. I do this for you. Everybody go home. Everybody get home safe. So no answers. He's playing this so gracefully. And the thing here is like that makes me so angry is that this fucking guy is such a great company man. He's doing his best to deal with the backlash here and do what's best for what's going on in the company. And I don't get a spiteful bone in his body about it. Upset maybe, but not spiteful, not hateful. And I'm like,
it's true.
God damn it! Get that fucking boy a belt! Finish the fucking story!
I know.
It just drives me nuts. It's just, and like,
I know.
What am I doing?
It's so annoying. All right.
So, yeah, at the end of this Raw, we have more questions than answers. We have no idea what's going on. The rumors going around WrestleMania are insane. There is conspiracies upon conspiracies upon conspiracies at this point. Like, if this is a work, like I said at the top of this episode, if this is a work pre-planned, pre-orchestrated by The Rock and his creative team that has now kind of marched their way into the WWE offices and set up shop, this possibly could go over as one of the biggest rope-a-dope dupes on the entire fandom as like ever, really. Like, the response to this has been insane. I can't even think of another situation like this where the booking created such a response like the one that we're seeing here. And the reason why I don't think it's a work is because of the response we're getting. I feel like they were expecting something else. They were expecting a lot more love for this, and they've even fed stories out into the industry in a number of ways through ESPN. Like, when you read these articles that were trying to vouch for Rock versus Roman, and all of those articles would be just torn apart with "We want Cody" hashtags everywhere.
Yeah, just eviscerated.
So it's they're changing course here. I can't imagine that this
I hope so.
I can't imagine this was a work, and I can't imagine that they're going to keep going for it, because the crowd is going to be like, we're going to see it at every stadium as long as they keep this going. Like, the crowd's going to kind of turn on them a little bit. We saw it on Monday. We heard rumors that they even did it in Texas, where they were just chanting, "We want Cody, Rocky sucks." I think even in this opening segment with Rollins on Raw, I genuinely think there was a level of like, they weren't expecting the crowd reaction to be what it was. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me, because Rollins also says something along the lines of like, "Well, I can smell what's cooking," something along those lines, and it garners a response. And then the crowd just runs with it, and they can't even get a word in. But
I really hope they backtrack.
That could be a
here
work
to some extent. I really hope so. But we won't know. We won't know until Friday. Well, we won't know until Thursday. Because we'll have this press conference and we'll see where we stand there and see what the reaction is like. Because that is open to the public as well. And it's free to get in. And that could get real ugly for them.
What I hope here is McIntyre rolls in on a fucking stallion. All right? Wearing full ring gear.
A Scottish stallion.
A Scottish stallion. Horse wearing a kilt. In ring gear. With the t-shirt, with the Death of CM Punk's WrestleMania main event t-shirt, and just tears ass through Cody, through The Rock, through Rollins.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Just go unhinge, McIntyre. I give you full reign. McIntyre, you have the opportunity here to hijack this entire year. And it would be great. It would
Make it your story, Drew.
Make it your story.
Finish the story, Drew. All right, well, that's it for SmackDown, and we'll touch on the press conference, and we've done another long one. We did it again. Oops, we did it again. But I think, I'd be remiss if we didn't play a little game.
All right.
Dun, dun. Okay.
I have a lighter on me to...
A game we will play, and it will be fun. They were born in the same year, but which one is young? One's old by some months, but their lives are not done. They were born in the same year, but which one is young? Okay, so we've got another game for you, Willie Bean.
All right, let's go.
It's time to play a game.
Don't you fucking say that again. I'm really, really at my end here.
All right, let's play a quick game here, Will. It's time to play the game. The gamer Will always loses, and there are no prizes anyways. This will be their year. A game where I tell you two wrestlers born in the same year, Will. And I want you to guess which one is younger.
Oh, God. Okay.
Which one is younger?
All right.
So I kind of blew this. I think in retrospect, I probably should have just told you they were two wrestlers and you pick which one was younger and see how long it took for you to realize that they were all born in the same year. But it's too late for that now. All right, your first two.
Okay.
Randy Keith Orton. Clarified that from last week. Randy Keith Orton or Shinsuke Nakamura. Which one is younger? Born in 1980.
1980? Ooh, good question. I think Randy Keith Orton is younger.
Oh, that is a no point for Will. Unfortunately, that's Shinsuke Nakamura, born February 24th, 1980, one day before my birthday. And Randy Keith Orton, born on April 1st.
Damn
April 1st. This game sucks. All right, number two. We have Roman Reigns versus the Woe Man, Cody Rhodes. Both born in 1985. Will, which one is younger?
I fucking hate you so much. Why would you bring those two names up at the end of this? You know how many feelings I have
Roman
invested?
Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. You're going to get them against each other in this one way and this one way only. Which one is younger?
I fucking hate you so much.
Oh, wait. I think I said Shinsuke. No, Shinsuke would be older if he was born in February 24th, and Randy would be younger. And the game
I was right.
Who is younger? Randy, or that is a point for Will. Will's 1 for 1. Okay, moving on. Roman Reigns.
You're good.
Cody Rhodes.
See, you're lucky I'm not good at math, and I just trust people inherently because I was willing just to keep walking through that. Drive Steve nuts on the chapter by chapter podcast.
Didn't even fucking figure that out.
Okay, so who's younger between Roman and Cody? I'm gonna say Roman.
Roman is unfortunately older. He was born on May 25th, and Cody was born on June 30th of 1985. Both of them in 1985. That is a no win for Will on that one.
Okay.
Number 3, we got Braun Breaker, the newest up-and-coming star in WWE, and Mr. Dominic Mysterio, both born in 1997. Really shows you how much of a push Dom has got early, getting that bump. Both of these are second-generation stars. I think Dom's actually a third. Both born in 1997. Will, who is younger?
Oh, God. Now that I know that I'm older than Braun Breaker and Dominic Mysterio, that's weird for me.
It just gets worse, man. As someone who's significant, is 7 years older than you, it just gets worse.
Ooh, man. Braun. I'm going to say Braun's younger.
That is correct, Will. Braun Breaker born on October 24th of 1997, while Dominic Mysterio came in at April 5th of 1997. Very
April boy,
interesting.
Dom.
Big stuff. He's an April
Word up.
boy.
There's my Aries bro.
All right, next, Will. If you get this one, you have won the game. We have, in the year of 1989, Bayley or Bianca Belair. Which one is
That's
younger?
a hard one. Oh, that's hard because they both exude very young energy. Like
They do.
Bayley to me feels like she's like she reminds me of my little sister in a lot of ways.
Right.
Bianca is like almost Gen Z personified.
So much energy.
So
Both
much
born
energy.
in 89. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, 89.
Only 1 year older than, or 1 year younger than me. Makes me feel real old.
Oh man, I'm gonna say this is tough. Younger. Bianca is younger.
Oh, well, that is incorrect. Bayley, born June 15th of that year, and Miss Bianca Belair, April 9th. April 9th of 1989. All right. For all the marbles, Will, you're 2 for 4 right now. Will you win this game? Both born in 1949. We have Ric Flair or Jerry the King Lawler. Which one is younger? Both are old as shit, but which one is younger?
Both are old as shit.
A lot of surprises on this list of people born in the same year, honestly. Did not feel like Ric Flair and Jerry Lawler were born in the same year. Certainly did not feel like Bayley and Bianca or Braun and Dom were born in the same year.
Yeah, there's a lot of miles on that Ric Flair life, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, like actual age, Ric Flair is definitely older.
Ric Flair is dead.
Ric Flair has died several times. He's like a cat.
Yeah. He just keeps on getting back up and going for a drink. Fuck, that's a hard one. I'm gonna Ric Flair. Ric Flair's younger.
Ooh, that is incorrect, Will. Ric Flair, born on the best day of the year, February 25th. That's my birthday, guys. And Jerry the King Lawler, born on November 29th.
I'm not coming to your birthday.
For the longest time, Ric Flair, and still actually to this day, Ric Flair is the only person I really know who has the same birthday as me that was any sort of famous. Like, I remember when the internet came out and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I went on the Wikipedia and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are, but I know who Ric Flair is. That's kind of cool. So Will lost again, but it didn't matter anyways because there are no prizes. That is the end of the podcast for today. Thanks for sticking out for another long one. I know we said we were going to go early. But, I mean, like, it's really hard not to talk about Cody and Rock and Roman.
It's been a crazy week. It's been a really crazy 2 weeks to just start a wrestling podcast as we're just getting our feet wet doing this
It's
show.
It's really tough, And I mean, like, I can almost guarantee you, we had to shovel 3 shows in on this one, and we had to talk about Roman and Rock and Cody for a bit. I will assure you these will get shorter. But for these first 2 weeks, you got a long slog. But remember, you can always check those timestamps on the podcast if you want to skip past the news or skip to a specific event that we're covering, or right to the game time, which is clearly the surprise hit and breakout of the show. That's the end of the game. The game already ended. That was pointless. I just wanted to do it.
This is awful.
Who's your winner of the week, Will? We all know who the loser is, and it's fucking Dwayne Johnson.
Fuck you is the winner of the show.
Fuck you. Who's the winner? The fucking TKO's pocketbooks. Because they're going to make money no matter what. Any publicity short of Vince raping someone is good publicity right now. And everyone is talking about WWE. So they're going to make a bunch of money.
Here's a question for you. How much blow do you think Tony Khan did over the weekend?
Well, like, that's the thing. Is like, on one hand, from a wrestling fan standpoint, he was probably super happy that Punk was hurt and that they fucked up the Cody storyline. But on the other hand, it's just going to drive more eyes to his main competitor. So as a businessman, it's not good for him.
That wasn't the question. How much coke do you think he did this weekend?
3 grams is the answer. That's 3 grams.
3 grams. He nailed it, everybody.
So I guess we'll take this opportunity here to just plug our other shows. I have a show called Who Killed the Radio Star with Will's podcast co-host on the one he's about to plug, Mr. Steve. We talk about like various things about the music industry. It's very inconsistent right now. I don't think we've had one in like a month, but it's a really good, quick and fun listen. It's not like boring slog through 2.5 hours of us yelling about Cody. Will, your plugs?
Yeah, I've got a show with Steve as well, our flagship show for the network. It's called the Chapter by Chapter Podcast. The new season, I think, is up this week on Friday. That will be Friday, February 9th. That's going to be continuing on for the next 2 to 3 months. We're covering Children of Dune, chapter by chapter. Do we do a good job of it?
Hell yeah.
It's a podcast. The other show that I do is called The Last Gen Arcade with my co-host Nathan Isles. That particular show, we go over retro video games, and we go through the development history for one episode, and then we do another episode where we review the game. We have various types of guests from around the Calgary arts and music and writing scene, and it's been super fun. As like Who Killed the Radio Star, it's a little bit of in a wishy-washy, time-free zone right now because of life for the last 2 months. But there's like 50 some odd episodes that you guys can listen to. Those episodes are also like 2.5 to 3 hours long. So I'm sorry if you got if you don't have a lot of time to go through video game nonsense. And then finally, like Tyler mentioned in the show already, I just released an album. My band is called the Galacticas. It's out there on Spotify, on all your streaming services. You can look it up, give us money, and make me famous, please.
Hit that shit up on Napster, yo. Yeah. So please, we're finally rolling out here. You can see us on YouTube. You can see us on your Apple Podcasts, on your Google Podcasts, on your podcast. Tell your friends, tell your wrestling friends about us. Please email us at 14123%@gmail.com with any suggestions on things we can cover. We still haven't covered any of our topics. Next week we will, when we're only covering 2 regular-ass shows where hopefully nothing crazy happens and The Rock
and a press conference.
And a press conference. Guys, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
See you next week.